Good evening. I'd like to welcome you and call to order the March 25th, 2019 Old Bridge Township Council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing for a prayer and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As customary in this chamber, we stand for a moment of silence to remember those who are protecting our freedoms, both here and abroad, for our first responders, for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. And this evening, Dr. Greenberg?
It is with a heavy heart. It is with a heavy heart and much sadness that I ask you to remain standing for a moment of silence for our friend, Maddie Pachone. Maddie was a beautiful person inside and out, and although she was small, she had a very big heart. For those who knew Maddie and will remember Maddie will be for her kindness. She was involved in town with the TNR project, and she made herself available to everyone. Maddie started out her career in New York City. She was a policewoman, although she was 4'9", and then she wound up in the courthouse near Ground Zero, and that's where she acquired, unfortunately, COPD. She also survived cancer, but sadly on November 19th, she lost her life in a car accident. And I'm asking you to keep her in your prayers. Think of her son, Joseph, her daughter, Wendy, and her grandchildren, and may she rest in peace. Thank you.
Our prayer, Mr. Cahill, please.
O Lord, bless thy servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve thee in this chamber. Give them quiet minds and hearts that they may hear thy voice. Help them to know when to speak, when to be silent. Give them strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right. And grant that they have a good conscience and soul at peace with thee and with one another. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated.
This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and notice of the meeting has been posted in public places. Next open public meeting of the council will be held on Monday, April 8th, 2019, at 7:30 p.m. Mrs. Brown?
Present.
Mr. Cahill?
Here.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Here.
Mr. Merwin? Present. Mr. Murphy?
Here.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Here.
President Soha?
Here.
8 present.
Good evening, everyone. First, we will be doing presentations. Mayor Henry?
Thank you, Council President, Council. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Town Council meeting. We have a special presentation to make tonight. As always, in our chambers, we have our Camp Robin team. Tonight, we're going to be acknowledging our speed skating team, the winter. And we have a lot of proclamations to give out. And again, it's always an honor and pleasure to stand here before you. The community loves the program. I'm sure all our athletes are anxious to get their certificates. They have their medals on. So let's get this show on the road. Matt, please help me out.
I'd like to invite up from Camp Robin manager Pete Pirro and coach Rick Antonazzi.
Again, Rick, thank you so much. You want to explain a little bit about what?
Okay, great. Just to give a few words, I want to thank the council and the mayor for this wonderful honor. The athletes love this. The recognition and everything is second to none for them. This is the 18th year Pete and I have been doing this, so I guess eventually we'll get it right. But it's every year just it's another wonderful experience that we go through, and how Old Bridge is well represented at the Winter Games. This year we had, our team grew. We had 17 athletes, and 16 actually competed. Each athlete competes in two races, and we competed against Camden and Newark. And with all of that, we came out winning a total of 32 medals, 16 gold, 9 silver, 2 bronze, and 5 fourth-place finishes. So wonderful, wonderful job. Just some other people to quickly thank before we get to the certificates. Certainly, I want to extend thanks to Barbara Anderson and Jim. They're not here, they're down in Florida, but still, they stay in touch with us, they still help us. Anything that we need, they're there for us. So we couldn't do it without them. So thanks to Barbara and Jim. Pete is my block when it comes to doing this thing. He stays behind the scenes and he takes care of all the back office things that need to get done with Special Olympics, which is quite a bit. That enables me to spend the time on the ice with the athletes. I want to thank Dan, my son, and Mike Senatiempo, who's not here tonight. Those are my two coaches. They do a wonderful job. I couldn't, have the practice without them. So special shout out to both of them. Yep. And then I want to give special recognition, and I would ask the volunteers to please stand up. Lindsay, all you guys, stand up. These individuals, what's so special about these folks is that they really don't have any vested interest in participating in the program. They don't have family on the team. My son's on the team. So they're only here to help out because that's the kind of people that they are. That's the quality of people that they are. Our practice is Saturday morning at 8 o'clock every Saturday. So for these folks to get up when they don't really have to and schlep out to the rink and get on the ice and help all of our athletes out, it's just amazing. And through the efforts of some of these individuals here, we have had athletes that couldn't stand up on skates when the season started. And through their efforts, they competed at the Winter Games and they won medals. So congratulations, wonderful job. And lastly, I want to thank the parents, because if it wasn't for the parents, none of this would happen. As it is for these folks to get up early in the morning on Saturdays, it's the same thing for the parents. And with the parents, it's not only speed skating. Speed skating is over. Now we're starting track. Basketball is almost done. The swimming is starting up. So there's just tons of activities that I know as parents it's tough to do each and every week. So thank you very much for the support, and we appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Okay, well, let's give out these recognitions. First one up is Chris Marquez. He's not here. Chris McMullen is in school right now, so we couldn't be here. Dylan's wherever. He's not here. He's in school, too. Jaden is not here. The weather must have scared them away. I know this guy's here. Jimmy Smith.
Congratulations. Thank you. Good job.
Bobby V. Good job. Joey Pilchuk, he's not here. Mark Zeloff. He's not here. Nicholas Grant. Pam Giles.
Last year I couldn't compete because I wanted to say something because I had an ankle injury.
Okay.
Came back?
And she came back and she won medals. Paul Pantano. Paul Pantano. Robbie Lou.
Robbie's here. Congratulations, Robbie. Great job.
Good job, Robbie.
Just covering your face. How you hang on?
Sal Lupino.
Good job, Sam. Proud of you.
Good job, man. Nice. Good job, Sal. Okay. Shri. Stephanie Puccio. Tommy Antonazzi. Yamaj.
Good job.
This is Yamaj's dad that helped us out as a chaperone, Arsalan. This individual keeps us all in check while we're away at the Winter Games. Claudia Puccio. Thank you, Claudia. Okay. This is Rochelle, Mark's mother. She's also a chaperone. Richard Grant is also a chaperone. Dawn is also a chaperone. Yeah.
I don't know who this guy is.
Pete Piero. Casey.
Casey, thank you so much. Great, thank you.
Congratulations. Christy, a family affair, his sister.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Chris Malott. Thank you. Chris Dorr. Congratulations. Danny Antonazzi. She's not here. All right. John Rosalie. Lauren Schaefer. As Lauren's coming up, it's kind of bittersweet because both her and her sister won't be with us next year. They're going and be part of the Crimson Tide, University of Alabama. So, wish you congratulations. Lindsay. Mike Santiempo, and that's, you have Joey Pilcher.
Yeah, it's still in there.
The last thing is with the volunteers that I had stand up before, we're not going to use that terminology anymore because they're just as much of a coach as I am or the other two. So what we've done is we've just given them our new uniforms, and on the back it's coaches for everybody. So you deserve it. Congratulations.
So one more coach, head coach, this is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, thank you all very much for the support. Oh, Joey Pilchuck. We forgot one more, Joey. Okay, that's it, we're done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much again. Thank you.
Good job, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Congratulations to everyone. We're all so proud of you. It's really a wonderful program. Congratulations. I'm sure now you're ready to leave for the evening and enjoy the rest of the evening. So if you'd like to stay, you're welcome to stay, but if not, if you'd like to leave now before we get into the body of the meeting. Oh, thank you. No, congratulations.
I apologize to my.
Okay. Next will be approval of minutes of previous meetings. Approval of minutes combined meeting February 25th, 2019. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
Bill listing, Mrs. Walker.
Accounts payable, March 25th, 2019, $3,143,965.44.
Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr. Rizzoli.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
Payroll, March 15th, 2019, $926,106.57.
Do I have a motion?
Oh, move it.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Walker, second by Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin? Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
Payroll overtime, March 15th, 2019, $40,944.83.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Okay, moved by Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mrs. Walker. Can we have a breakout, Mr. Shaw, please?
Yes, Council President, thank you. As Councilwoman Walker indicated, total overtime for this pay period was $40,944.83. We had an uptick in Public Works and Parks related to snow and ice storm on March 3rd and March 4th. We also had, during this pay period, a senior center project demolition of the Lawrence Harbor Senior Center, CDBG, so some of the overtime attributable to that in construction department. For the police department, the total overtime was $16,858.78. When you deduct for the grants, which was zero, deduct for ETO, $4,762.55. The net overtime was $12,096.23, representing 234.25 men and women hours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Shaw.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes.
That concludes the bill list.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Walker. We will now go into the budget. Mr. Shaw? Okay, once they get seated. Good evening. And for everyone here and at home, this is our 2019 budget hearing. So I will ask everyone to please just give their name for the record and for those who are watching.
My name is Bob Allison, Auditor.
Yes.
Mayor Henry?
Himanshu Shah, Business Administrator, Chief Financial Officer.
Dawn Swoboda, Acting Finance Director and Tax Collector.
Good evening, everyone.
Mayor, you want to?
Who would like to begin?
I'll open it up, council. Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
always look forward to this night when we present our budget.
Yes.
Very exciting this year. I'd be remiss, if I didn't say a few words,
Oh, absolutely.
but I think the budget speaks volumes. This book says a lot about everything that's going on in the town, a lot about our administration, and a lot about of our council. I want to thank everyone who was involved in putting this budget together for their efforts and their dedication, and I would consider their efforts second to none. Thank you to all our department heads, Nicole Shapiro, Township Engineer, Director of Community Development, Dawn Swoboda, Acting Finance Director, Tax Collector, Kyle Harris, Director of Public Works, Matt Mercurio, Director of Parks and Recreation, Chief William Volkert, Chief of Police, Patrick Reardon, Construction Official, Brian Enright, Tax Assessor, Sue Boucher, Court Administrator, Stella Ward, Township Clerk, and Avril Lamage, Human Resource Manager. I'd like to thank them all for participating in this process. They have gathered all the information and they've made the residents of Old Bridge their priority and achieving the goals of meeting the needs of the community, but doing it in a fiscally responsible manner. The budget workshop meetings were both informative and productive. I want to thank all the council members who chaired, attended, and participated in those workshops. I hope you found the experience to be a positive one. All the attendees to the workshops were exposed to the inner workings of the township and shown every revenue stream and every appropriation is accounted for here in Old Bridge. This year's budget is one we can all be proud of. We continue to improve the financial picture of Old Bridge. We continue to meet the needs of our community with top quality services, recognized around the state programs, and we provide a positive atmosphere which allows everyone the opportunity to grow and prosper. And this year we've accomplished our goals that we set before years ago, that we've been able to achieve all these goals with no municipal tax increase this year. So tonight, my administration and this management team pledge to continue our efforts in making Old Bridge a better place to live, work, and raise a family. And I want to thank you all in advance, council members, and ask you for your support in adopting our budget for 2019. It's something you can all be very proud of. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to let the council know that all the management team is here. The police department is represented, while Chief is not here, it's represented by Captain Mandola, Sergeant Doctor, and also Captain Scott Grumpert. They're here in support of this budget. 2019 municipal budget overview. The municipal budget represents 19% of the total tax rate and is the only portion of the tax bill the township official can directly control. The 19% covers the majority of the municipal services that are provided to the residents of the township of Old Bridge, including code enforcement, community development, engineering, planning and zoning, health and senior services, parks and facilities, recreation programs, public safety, including police protection and emergency management, and public works, roads, recycling, and snow removal. The remaining portion of tax bill, 81%, funds the Old Bridge Public School, Old Bridge Public Library, Middlesex County Government, Middlesex County Open Space Program, and 4 fire district, Cheesequake, Lawrence Harbor, Medicine Park, and South Old Bridge.
Okay, excuse me, Mr. Shaw, just one moment. I'd like for the record to state that Councilman Tony Pischetti is here now. He just arrived at 7:55, okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Apologize.
The slide provides a breakdown of the taxes. The biggest slice is obviously the school tax, which is 51%. I'm sorry, 57%. Municipal tax is the only tax that township control, which is 19%. Township must collect and distribute all other agencies with 100% of their respective amount. So we are responsible for collecting all the agency taxes, and we are responsible to provide them 100% of their tax levy. County tax rate will be finalized by the County Board of Taxation based on the county-wide equalized valuation. Also, by June end, the county will finalize the tax rate for each entity and certified by the County Board of Taxation. And then in July, the billing, final billing for 2019 takes place. As every year, municipal budget goals, 2019 municipal budget goals, maintain or improve core municipal services for the citizen of Old Bridge, minimize tax impact, and remain under statutory caps. Continue to implement a sound and longer-term financial plan for the township. Identify potential areas of operational improvements and/or cost savings for 2020 and 2021. We always prepare the current year budget, keeping in mind what the future is going to be. Also, since last year, we have, besides the financial goals, we have a non-financial goals. We call it non-financial goals. Goals is to improve customer service. And thanks to departments' efforts, results are positive. We'll continue to further improve our efforts of providing the best customer service possible. 2019 municipal budget guideline. These are important. This is an important guideline that everybody should realize that how we operate, what laws and regulations and how we operate. Under state law, a municipality must pass its annual budget in order to spend money and/or tax residents for that year. Strict municipal budget forms are prepared and submitted to the state. State oversight performed by Division of Local Government Services in the Department of Community Affairs. Budget adoption requires state approval. The Township of Old Bridge has received the state approval to adopt the budget tonight. By law, municipal tax levy must equal appropriations less non-tax revenue. It has to be a balanced budget. Projected non-tax revenue cannot exceed last year's actual non-tax revenue. Expenses cannot exceed the budgeted amount. Transfer within a cap are only allowed in the last 2 months of the year. What all those regulation does is that requires us to have being very conservative in our budgeting, making sure that we account, and control all our spending, because the cap transfer, unlike other entity, are only allowed in November and December. So we have to operate. We are not allowed to overspend budget except for certain condition where we come to the council for emergency appropriations. But without that, administration cannot just overspend a budget line. "2019 municipal budget development process. It's an 8 months of development process from start to finish. In August of 2018, a memorandum and budget guidelines were sent to department heads. September of 2018, department budget requests submitted to Finance Department. October of 2018 to January of 2019, department budget review with administration. We meet with every department and review their budget requests line by line. February 2019, proposed municipal budget finalized and transmitted to council on February 8, 2019. Municipal budget was introduced on February 11, 2019. February to March 2019, state aid certification was received on March 11, 2019. Council budget subcommittee meetings were held on February 21st, February 27, and March 5th, 2019. Tonight is a municipal budget public hearing and hopefully an adoption of municipal budget. Again, state has reviewed the budget and entirely and approved for the adoption. 2019 municipal budget summary. The 2019 proposed municipal budget calls for $54,714,366 in expenditures. Revenue includes $6,270,857 in municipal state aid, $4,207,298 in municipal revenue, $1,650,000 in uniform construction and code enforcement fees, $700,000 in receipt from delinquent taxes, $425,000 in municipal court fines and cost, $150,000 in interest on investment and deposit, and $34,311,211 as the amount to be raised by taxation. I want to point out that most towns do not anticipate interest on investment for the last several years because the rates are, had dipped low, very low. But even in this downturn economy, we were able to keep the line in the budget and continue to budget the interest on our investment. Every penny that we have in the treasury earns interest. An anticipation of $7 million from fund balance will be required to bring the 2019 budget into balance. This will leave $2,898,889 in cash fund balance to help stabilize taxes for 2020. The proposed municipal tax rate is therefore estimated to be 0.979 in 2019, which reflects no increase in tax rate over 2018. For an average home in Old Bridge assessed at $154,165, the municipal tax would have no increase. Library budget. The municipal library purpose expenditure category is included as an appropriation in the municipal budget. However, since 2011, the amount is deducted from the municipal tax levy in the calculation of the amount to be raised by taxation for municipal purposes. The 2019 minimum state required funding for the Old Bridge Public Library is $2,693,172. The associated tax rate is estimated to be 0.077 in 2019, which reflects no increase in tax rate over 2018. For average home in Old Bridge assessed at $154,165, the municipal library tax would have no increase. Bringing together municipal and library, the total general appropriation for 2019, including municipal library purposes, $57,407,538 compared to $55,890,349 in 2018 budget as modified. This is a total budget appropriation increase of $1,517,189 or 2.71%. The proposed tax rate for both municipal and municipal library purpose for 2019 is therefore estimated to be $1.056, which reflects no increase in tax rate over 2018. For an average home in Old Bridge assessed at $154,165, the proposed municipal and municipal library tax would have no increase. This slide has a breakdown of expenditure between salary and wages, other expenses, and the library from 2014 to 2019. Salary and wages is in the red. Other expenses is in the blue. And library appropriation is top bar in green. (2019) expenditures. The salary and wages expenditure category has increased by $699,623 from $22,595,739 in 2018 to $23,295,362 in 2019. In addition to contractual increases, the 2019 budget includes funding for one new full-time position in police department, a patrol officer, one new part-time position in engineering and intern, and one new full-time position in Public Works Department, Laborer A. The other expenses category has increased by $275,137 from $17,866,169 in 2018 to $18,141,306 in 2019. The major increase under this expenditure category is group health insurance. The municipal debt service expenditure category has decreased by $194,748 from $5,428,653 in 2018 to $5,230,905 in 2019. The decrease is a result of managing the annual amortization and improved bond ratings. The statutory expenditure category has increased by $90,371 from $4,625,934 in 2018 to $4,716,305 in 2019. The major increase under this expenditure category is the police and firemen retirement system. The deferred charges expenditure category has decreased by $48,162 from $135,650 in 2018 to $87,488 in 2019. The major decrease under this expenditure category is the emergency authorization for additional contribution to non-volunteer first aid squad and a contribution to ARENA. The capital improvement fund expenditure category has increased by $50,000 from $250,000 in 2018 to $300,000 in 2019. The proposed capital budget for 2019 is expected to be $6 million for the development of Cottrell Farm, curbing, drainage, road improvement, facility improvements, replacement of equipment and vehicles for various departments and divisions. There will be a separate presentation on capital that is up for adoption tonight. The reserve for uncollected taxes expenditure category has increased by $660,000 from $2,280,000 in 2018 to $2,940,000 in 2019. This is a statutory non-spending appropriation. The actual collection rate for 2018 was 99.34%. The projected tax collection rate for 2019 is 98.34%. The township suspended the accelerated tax sale in 2017 and went back to holding standard tax sale. We believe this is a positive change for the residents. This slide is a pie chart of 2019 expenditure, breaking down the expenditure by category. The biggest slice is salary and wages, the blue slide, which is 40.58%. Important to note that employee salary and wages and benefit comprise of 62.36% of total expenditure in 2019 budget. Just be mindful that we are a service industry. We rely on our employees in providing the service to the community. Next biggest is other expenses, which is 30.60%. And we always keep an eye on our municipal debt service, which is 9.12%. We'll be discussing further the debt service amortization and requirement in our capital presentation. This is our Sherwin-Williams color bill. This will be available to review in detail on our website. The biggest slice is the police department, and public safety is an important function. And the next largest is insurance, including health and liability— 2019 revenue, Total municipal revenue, including the municipal library tax levy, has increased by $1,517,188 from $55,890,350 in 2018 to $57,407,538 in 2019. The municipal state aid revenue category has not changed in 2019. The fund balance revenue category has been increased by $250,000 from $6,750,000 in 2018 to $7 million in 2019. The fund balance reserve has been set at 5.04% of the total municipal budget for 2019. We'll have additional slides later about the fund balance and surplus. The Uniform Construction Code fees revenue category has not changed in 2019. The municipal court fines and cost revenue category has not changed for 2019. The interest on investment and deposit revenue category has been increased by $50,000 from $100,000 in 2018 to $150,000 in 2019. The miscellaneous revenue category has been increased by $518,969 from $3,688,329 in 2018 to $4,207,298 in 2019. With the cancellation, the receipt from delinquent tax revenue category has been increased by $574,850 from $125,150 in 2018 to $700,000 in 2019. With the cancellation of accelerated tax sale, there are additional receivable to anticipate in the following year. The amount to be raised by taxation revenue category has been increased by $138,403 from $34,172,808 in 2018 to $34,311,211 in 2019. Even though there is an increase in levy, the rate remains flat due to the increase in assessed value. This is a pie chart showing the revenue, breaking down the revenue. The largest pie is, piece of the pie is amount to be raised by taxation. Second largest is the fund balance. Where did I go? Oh, right there, the blue. Third largest is a state aid of 10.92%. The total revenue is $57,407,538. Municipal state aid. State aid has been flat since 2014. In fact, it is flat since 2011 and down by over $2.5 million from 2008. Obviously, state is not taking their share of burden and continue to reduce the state aid. Surplus anticipated from the fund balance. So in 2014 and 2015, we anticipated $6.5 million in the budget. In 2016, we increased to $6,750,000 and used the same amount in 2017 and 2018. This year, we increased by $250,000 to $7 million. The next slide will show in more detail the relationship between the fund balance and a surplus. So this slide shows the fund balance and surplus in a budget from 2014 to 2019. The blue represents balance as of January 1st of each year. The red represents the balance, the fund balance anticipated in the budget as surplus. The purple represents the cash balance through the balance throughout the year. Green represents the balance as of December 31st of each year, which then carries over to the following year. So if you look at it each year, we start with the blue. The red is what we anticipate in the budget. The purple color is the one that we retain as a fund balance, and the green, by the year end, we restore back to the green bar, which shows the surplus balance from the operation. And this process continues, and so this has been a lot of discussion in 2010 to 2012-13 about the fund balance and surplus, and I think these slides try to explain and clarifies the fund balance. The fund balance to budget ratio in 2014 was 15.14%. Fund balance to budget ratio in 2019 is 17.24%. The rating agency really looks at the purple bar that you see and want to see the steady growth in this line. When that number started to fall, then they get concerned. And remember, we have a very strong ratings, and it's important to maintain that. And again, this is part of our long-term financial planning and is reflected, obviously, in our bond rating. Uniform Construction Code and fees. Anticipated revenue in 2019 is the same as 2018. When we anticipate construction code fees, we look at the historical trend and we project. We also look at the projects that are approved by the Planning and Zoning Board, and in concurrence with the construction official to make sure that we do not over-anticipate this line of revenues. As you can see, in 2017, we had to lower the revenue. Municipal court fines and cost. This is another slide that was a heavy discussion in the past. We had an aggressive driving program was suspended in 2014, and we adjusted budget to reflect the lowering of the revenue since then. Interest on investment and deposit. We have slowly increased the revenue item in the budget over the last 5 years. Interest rate obviously is a reflection of interest rate that's slowly rising. And when we were looking at the 2018 actual revenue, we thought that it was appropriate now to increase the anticipated amount by $50,000. Miscellaneous revenue 2014 to 2019. This item includes interest and cost on taxes, tower rental fees, interlocal service agreement, licensing, pilots approved by the town, cable franchise fees and permits, and state and federal grants, some of those major revenue in this category. Major increase in this category included interlocal agreement with school for security, as security in school has been expanded since last year, tax court judgment, and PREMA reimbursement, and a new pilot program. Receipt for delinquent tax. This used to be, with the accelerated tax sale, used to be the level funding every year, very small receivable balance that has slightly increased in 2018, and additional increases happened at the end of 2018, where number of property tax has not, were late in paying at the end of 2018. Amount to be raised by taxation for 2014 to 2019. The blue bar reflects the library tax, the bottom, and the red bar reflects the municipal tax. Statutory caps. Municipality in New Jersey are required to adhere to 2 statutory caps. The cost of living cap adjustment enacted by the state require each municipality to limit any increase in state operating budget for 2.5% annually set by state unless authorized by ordinance to increase it to 3.5% over the previous year's final appropriation. For Old Bridge Township, the proposed final budget appropriation for 2019 is $44,178,207, which is $700,712 below the state mandated cap base of $44,878,919. The property tax levy cap enacted in 2010 by the state require each municipality to limit the local government units amount to be raised by taxation to no more than 2% over the prior year's levy. The state law allows specific exception for health benefit, pensions, length of service program, for volunteer, the capital improvement fund, and debt service. For Old Bridge Township, the proposed municipal tax levy for 2019 is $34,311,211, which is $831,901 below the state mandated property tax levy cap of $35,143,112. So it's important to note that in both categories, township budget is below the cap limit, and quite below the cap limit. So I think we covered the budget itself, but we will have a brief time through time. Dawn found this penguin's time machine. Fiscal health check, 2019 versus 2011. The municipal budget has been stabilized with average annual increase of 0.41% from 2011 to 2019. Non-recurring revenue are lower than non-recurring revenue for 2011 by $5,485,000. Only $75,000 in 2019. Fund balance is higher by $2,017,209 or 228.79%. The municipal tax rate has been stabilized with average annual tax rate increase of 0.96% from 2011 to 2019. Average dollar levy increase has been 1.34%, which is below 2% throughout this time. Continue with our fiscal health check. Obviously, everyone knows the rating agency is a very good barometers of the township financial position. Moody's assigned AA2 ratings to the Township of Old Bridge for $3.9 million GO refunding bond series 2012. And at that time, we received rate of 1.20%. Moody's assigns AA2 rating and provided an added positive outlook. So it's kind of a upgrade to the Township of Old Bridge for $9.8 million GO bond series 2014. And that year, our rate that we received was 1.81%. Moody's upgraded rating to AA1 and assigned the new ratings to the Township of Old Bridge for $3.7 million energy savings improvement bond series 2015. Our rate was projected when we were preparing for that. It was 3.5%. With the upgrade, we received 2.79%. Moody's assigned a AA1 rating to the Old Bridge Municipal Utility Authorities for $5 million revenue refunding bond series 2016. Moody's assigned AA1 rating to the Township of Old Bridge for $20 million GO bond series 2017, and our rate for $20 million was 2.12%. Moody's assigned AA1 ratings to the Township of Old Bridge for proposed $8.5 million GO bond series for 2019. The bond sale is proposed for later this month. It's important to note that AA1 is a one notch below AAA. So the next upgrade, whenever we achieve, and we always strive for that, is going to be AAA. And I think in my administrative report I mentioned that represents 10% of the community in New Jersey as well as in entire country. The future. The 8 ball is gone and we got 2019-2020 potential challenges. National, state, and local economic condition, we always are subject to that. Weather-related emergency and related cost. In 2018, we spent about $700,000 for our snow and ice, snow removal and ice removal services. 2019, we had a relatively mild winter, which helped to keep the cost down so far. But remember, we still have, November, December to deal with it. Contractual statutory cost increases. Part of our negotiation with bargaining units provided a cost of living adjustments, which increases annually. We have settled long-term contracts with all 9 labor unions through end of 2020 or 21. And it's important to note, the point is that we settled. We didn't have arbitration. We didn't have, any major issues with that. I think all of our unions were satisfied. I think it was a fair settlement with all of those unions. We have a cumulative time payout for our retirees. That liability has coming down, but we still have to deal with that. Although all of our contracts change in last 15 years has changed and capped those amounts to a small amount, even better than what the state has allowed under the statute. We always have to be mindful about tax appeal and refunds. We've been ordered to implement municipal-wide revaluation and related cost. Probably 2020-21, we're going to be facing those costs. We always face new and unfunded state mandates. State requires us to, make the changes in law mandates on municipality, but does not provide any relief funding for that. Further cost to municipal state aid. The state aid has been frozen. Fortunately, it didn't reduce this year, but with the state budget and the way the problems that state continues to face, who knows? Well, obviously, with the challenges, there's an opportunities. Ongoing cost containment strategies, we always, have those strategies. Achieve short-term and long-term cost containment for health benefit through our negotiation. By providing stipend for employees, Uniform Construction Code Department, we are now able to get a multiple inspection done when an inspector holds multiple licenses. So if they have multiple licenses, we provide a stipend salary so they can do both inspections. To contract negotiations, stipends are provided for employee in DPW and parks to obtain licenses needed to perform services that were currently outsourced. Sometimes those are expensive when you outsource. For example, black seal, pesticide, those are expensive service when you outsource. So we're trying, we're encouraging employee to take classes, get certified, get licensed, and we can handle those tasks in-house. Competitive contract for services. By using reverse auction, we were able to get a best price of energy for the township. Our upcoming bond sale is going to be a reverse auctions, and we have done that for the last several years, and that allows investor nationwide to purchase our debt. Cooperative purchasing for goods and services. We use local, state, and national co-op to get the best price. When we don't see price advantage through any of those, we go out to bid. New technology related initiatives. We have, for the last several years, we've been working on streamlining process and by implementing technology in almost every department. We have Gov Online for construction office, which allows everyone to be in a process that permit online rather than coming to the offices. Our HR payroll has an online employment application processing now. HR portal, our internet initiative for better communication with employees. We have for several years have a payment portal for taxes, fees and licenses, parking permits, police reports have been in place for several years, as I said. Our information reach website provides 24/7 information and business experience to residents. Cloud-based work order processing for public works and parks was implemented in mid-2017. New GIS system is now updated for ease of use. Parking payment solution utilizing smartphone payment systems has made commuters' life better. Off-site storage of computer data for disaster recovery, which is our backup storage is, and we have an interlocal with Bridgewater to store our backup data in Bridgewater and avoid the costly, cloud storage solution. Next slide. Huh? Oh, okay, this continues. Federal, state, and county local government programs, joint grant writer with the school focuses on receiving a maximum amount of grant. We have state aid for road improvements. We always, engineering department does excellent job in receiving state aid. CDBG grant through HUD provides annual federal grants. We annually receive various public safety related grants as well as recycling related grants. Additional and/or enhanced shared services with Old Bridge Public Library, Old Bridge Public Schools, Middlesex County Government, Hackensack Meridian, Raritan Bay Hospital, and/or neighbor municipality. With the county, we have a recycling program and health services. With the Board of Education, we have a school security, before and after daycare program, and we share grant writer for both Township and Board of Education. We have a opioid recovery with Woodbridge Township, Municipal Alliance for Opioid Awareness with school and hospital. Last year, we did a share services with the Monroe Township for animal shelter services. And our business alliance by Mayor's Office of Economic Development continues to work with the businesses in town. I think that concludes our short presentation.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Shaw, all the professionals here. Mr. Allison, would you like to add something, please?
Sure. Make it very short. It was a great presentation. I just, like to say that, recently we just went through another bond rating call. And, consistently within the bond rating opinion that came out, it speaks to the township's financial position as being strong, and management is continuing to have a conservative budget. The township historically strong management has a history of conservative budgeting and only appropriates what it can return and replenish. So we have very good reputation with Wall Street, and that's been growing over the years, and that's very important for the well-being of the town, very important for the taxpayers and the residents, and the consistency here is really remarkable. So I just commend you for that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allison. Does anyone else have any comments to make from Mayor? Anyone? Okay.
I'd just like to say, council, those of you that have been involved or been around for a while, know that the budget process prior to my administration could be best described as a fiasco. And every year, this room would be full of township employees being used as pawns, strong-arming the council that if you didn't pass a budget, you're probably going to be facing layoffs tomorrow. Well, as you can see, that has changed, and we're very proud. That was a pledge that we made, that we would never use township employees as pawns and I think the council knew what they were voting on those times, that there was something wrong. There was structurally imbalances in the budget with one-shot revenues. And I truly believe that, as we've all seen tonight, that does no longer exist. We are on sound financial ground, and we intend on keeping in that way. So I hope the council shares those views. So again, thank you, council. I really do thank you for your efforts all year, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And thank you, Mr. Shaw, for a very smart and professional presentation. You did an excellent job. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to open...
Council President, thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Dawn Swoboda and Victoria Carey in my department, because there is a lot of work goes behind in preparation, and those two are working hard in putting together all the information that I need.
Very good. Thank you all so much. Now, I would like to open it up to the public, if the public would like to come up and be heard. Good evening.
I think it's all.
I don't, yeah. Just see if...
Well, my name is John Miller. I'm running for mayor, and I have a few questions for the mayor and for the council. Mr. Mayor, Henry, I have a few questions for you about police salaries. Why do so many people make so much money on the police department?
Our police officer's salary, as you know, council, is driven by contractual agreements. They are bargained for, negotiated for, and that's what determines police salaries. And I think everyone knows that.
Certainly, you have the responsibility for supervising the police. Can you tell me what you do, what the process is for supervising?
I'll interrupt right here. There's a budget hearing, so if you have questions about the budget, that's what needs to be asked. Policy questions aren't appropriate, so any questions about the budget. And the question should be directed to the council president, to when the appropriate individual from the staff will respond.
Well, I can ask whatever I feel like asking. This is a time open for the public.
No.
Has to be
Excuse me,
Don't
excuse me.
you tell me what I cannot ask.
All right, this is a budget hearing, so the questions can only be about the budget.
Okay, Mary, being on the town council, can you tell me what the starting salary of a town council member is, please?
Do we have the information there, please?
Salary of the town council,
No, salary of a, you said of a police?
Council members.
Okay.
the council member.
Council member.
Okay, the salary of the council members is set to be $6,000 for each council member and $7,000 per council president.
You're telling me that
Yes.
Yeah.
you could pay $6,000?
Yeah, hold the mic so we can hear you ask the questions, please.
You're telling us that people get...
Yes, that we do, that's what the salary is per person.
I find it hard to believe that such an event's going on. Thank you. I really find it hard to believe that $6,000 is the amount, that's the amount that's in the municipal code. It's been there since about 1955, when the municipality started up, and nothing's ever been changed since then.
No, we
This number's
haven't.
never updated?
No, it has not.
Can I say something real quick? You might also be mistaken with the difference between a city and a municipality. That's a town. Typically, cities get paid different salaries, so you might be looking at a salary, per, council in like a Newark or something like that. So you actually are correct. We do make that amount. I can vouch for that 100%.
What amount?
6,000.
$6,000?
Yeah, let's keep it, though, to you asking me the question
Sure.
and me having a professional
Can we
answer.
talk about financial statement disclosure? Do you file annual financial statements?
Yeah, that's done annually. We have to do a financial disclosure.
And you've always been following that tact?
Yeah, yes,
If I request this through an Oprah law, I will find everybody receiving $6,000
to my knowledge, yes.
unless you have outside employment.
Okay.
You would do this to yourselves?
I'm sorry?
Is surprised that you would do this to yourselves. Regarding the police and the police budget, they make up a large percentage of the municipal budget. We send them about $12 million plus $1 million in overtime and all the for the police budget. And we have 4 cars on patrol right now, and we have 80 members in the police department to man those 4 cars. And I'd like the auditor to talk about why that is going on.
I think that the question, let me try to answer the question. First of all, I don't know if this is accurate number, there's only 4 cars going around. There is a schedule, shift, and entire structure in place in the police department. I suggest that, that you visit the police department. I'm sure they'll provide you all the information, but I don't want to, in the public television, I don't want to have public to misunderstand that we have only 4 cars going around.
With all due respect, I've lived in this development my entire
If
life.
I could, again.
I don't think we should be discussing
Mark-
what we have on patrol anyway,
Was
for
this,
obvious reasons.
I just want to get the notion out that we only have 4. That's an inaccurate statement.
Oh, I'm only saying this because my neighbor across the street, Mr. Messenger, back in the 1960s was mayor, and around 1970, I learned that we had 4 cars on patrol. My mom was in the homeowners association.
Okay, unfortunately,
We're
your
getting
time.
away from the
budget, unfortunately, your time is up.
Mr. Miller?
Council, please.
Right, you're-
Unfortunately, your
you're-
time is up, so I'm gonna have to cut you short. I apologize, but everyone needs to go with that 5-minute limit, okay?
Sure, we have a lot to talk about, and financial statements are one of those things. But thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
I'm just going to remind the public, if someone comes forward, the questions are about the budget. So if you have a question about how much is being expended for a particular area, how much is being raised for a particular area, those are appropriate budget questions. Policy questions are not appropriate. You're dealing with the budget, and that's what the question should be about the budget. I'm not looking for any
Mr.
comment
Lawyer,
from you, Mr.
you
Miller.
know
That's
what's going
enough.
on.
Thank
I
you.
sent you the payroll list. We have millionaire patrolmen all over the town, and some awful fraud going on. I'll be back. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public wish to be heard about the budget? Seeing no hands, then I will close the, okay, all right. Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you identify yourself, sir, name?
My name is John Peterson, resident here in Old Bridge for many years.
Good evening.
Okay. My question is budget-related. I'm concerned and curious about how much budget money is set aside for the Old Bridge Animal Shelter.
We'll get an answer for you.
350,000, but just give me a second.
Okay.
$325,000.
That's a year? Okay. And how much of that money is put towards the, forgive me, I have a little speech.
Take your time.
Problem. How much of that is set up directly to take care of the animals there?
The animal control fund is a separate trust fund set by the state statute. And this entire budgeted amount will be transferred to the control fund, and only expenses in that fund is related to animal center cost.
Okay.
So pretty much all the money is spent. That includes salary for employee in animal shelter. That includes any other expenses, vaccines, medical.
Medical.
Those are all costs incurred and provided. And there is more detail. There's an audit being performed on that separately. There's an audit report available on our website, so you can see in that. And we can certainly provide you further detail that's in our budget book. These budget books are available at the library, so you can review that, or you can visit the tax office, and we'll show you the entire cost analysis. So there is about $400,000 of cost, budgeted cost for the animal shelter.
So it sounds like a fair amount of money for the shelter. So there really wouldn't be any reason why the shelter would be lax in getting these animals medical attention when it's needed? Because obviously you have the funds, okay? All right, when, you said I can see these records?
Yes.
Okay, and,
Yes, certainly.
okay,
Everything is available for you to, it's all there. Everything is available for you to look at.
okay, thank you,
All
thank you,
right.
thank you for your time.
Oh, you're quite welcome. You have a good evening, sir. Is there anyone else here in the public that wishes to be heard on the budget? No, you already had a turn. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no hands, then I will now close the public portion, and I will go to council. Anyone on my left for a comment or a question? Yes, Mr. Cahill.
Okay, I did attend all three of the meetings, and I came in tonight not knowing what I was going to do. I had a problem with one thing that we couldn't discuss because of litigation, and I felt that didn't make it a complete budget, but I spoke to the attorney and Damacho, and they explained some more to me, so I will vote the way I feel when it's my turn. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Mr. Cahill?
Yes, thank you. So this is the budget book. You've seen it. As the mayor talked about during his opening statements, there was 3 subcommittee meetings that took place. They were actually open to the public, so it's a very transparent process. Unfortunately, the only public members were Councilwoman Brown's 2 sons, who were very well behaved, and the mayor's grandson, who was also very well behaved, and he's in the audience tonight. What's up, buddy? But it was a very transparent process. We went through the budget line by line. I was at all 3 budget meetings as well. There was, I think, a good exchange of ideas. There were questions that were asked. At the end of the day, it's a very sound budget. And Mr. Allison alluded to the bond rating call. I'm also on the Finance Committee. I was on the call as well. We had a very good conversation with Moody's. We were hopeful it was going to be AAA, but AA1 is pretty darn good in a municipality in the state of New Jersey. And without going into a lot of gory details, I think we fared very, very well on that bond call. So at the end of the day, it's a good budget. I'm going to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cahill. Anyone else on my left? On my right, Mr. Pasquini?
Yes, thank you very much for your hard work. Appreciate it. I could only make 2 out of the 3 budget meetings, but I had a lot of questions, and all my questions got answered. The only question that I have now is, what is our barrier to the AAA rating? I know we're getting the AAA rating rates, which is great. I don't know, I just like to say, hey, we got AAA.
I think that, unfortunately, the rating agencies, when they do review the budget, they compare us, and they have told us, and I think Bob was on the call, everybody on the call, that we have a great, we have an excellent financial position, township financial position itself, but they look at a number of factors. The proximity to, the location is one, wealth of the town, per capita income, and some of those factors, in my view, are not really necessarily should be reflection of the ratings. The ratings, purpose of rating has always been is to provide, saying that municipalities' ability to pay the debt that they're incurring. They want to make sure, that, I think that we have proven that we are better than even some AAA in being able to, pay back every penny we borrow, because we have very controlled mechanism, borrowing mechanism. We have very controlled the amortization schedule that allows the budget fluctuations. The 10% threshold that they look at it. But there are some factors outside of the control of this governing body or the administration, which are, locations or the state pension disaster that is bearing on us. They consider that we may be responsible at some day of their fiasco. So some of those factors are not in our control. But I have continued to make that saying, we should not be made accountable for something that state does, or we shouldn't be look at it saying, oh, we're not as rich as some towns. That shouldn't be barometers. But some of those factors are holding us a little back. But our efforts is going to continue to go towards AAA and ultimately achieve that.
Well, for me, the 2 years that I've been on the council, I've seen, very, very strong budget. I think you guys are doing a really good job. Kudos to you and the administration all around. Really proud to be in Old Bridge. Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Walker?
Yes, I sat in the audience quite a few years before I ran for council, and I saw the mess the town was in. I would sit in the audience and could shake my head with the things they were doing. They were selling land to balance the budget, using one-shot revenues, and I'm really proud that we've managed to turn the town around in 7 years. We're on such solid footing now, and that we're even being considered for AAA is pretty amazing. And the process is great. The administration and all the employees are there for us. Any questions we have, we went over line by line in the budget. Any questions were answered, and this is a really great budget.
Yes, I would like to say compliments to all the heads of the department, compliments to our CFO, our business administrator, the mayor. Truly, this is a sound budget. When you look that we have done more, we've done more with less, consistently. Not 1 year, it is repetitive. We are steady and we're consistent. We've been below cap. Basically, our capital improvements have improved. When you pay your taxes now, you see results. You look around the town's cleaner, roads are done, they're being paved in a format that each ward and district is being paid attention to. Drainage problems are being addressed. Each department has given more, and their level of service has increased. And all this is done. One thing that stood out, mostly important to me, to know that in the prior administration, they actually got more money from the state. So getting more money from the state, using non-recurring revenues to balance a budget, not having their employees' contracts settled, to go into arbitration. I mean, it is pretty phenomenal what has happened. And then to have the fund balance. And I also remember one thing that I thought was totally absurd sitting in there. They were praying. They had no money for snow and just praying for good weather. And really, I mean, that is just, how do you make a budget on good weather? So I will say, in this short amount of time, what has happened to turn around the financial strength of this town is pretty incredible, but not to do it 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. Look at this. This has been going on for years. And to get the bond rating that we have, that has helped in every area because you borrow money for less, so it's less money for the town. It helps out the utility authority with that. And we've made improvements all over. So I really say kudos, and, to be below the cap, also, not 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, consistently. And then to have a stable budget, that's really rewarding in this time, especially when you look at the state, the mess they're in, and they don't know where to raise taxes more, and they just keep on putting more and more on the individual. And really, it's non-sustainable, but to do more with less and have the town that we do, I'm very proud to be in this town and to see what has happened. So thank you very much. And I hope everyone else realizes that and pays attention to this budget. Because every department, also I would have to say, the equipment, they've been given the tools that they need to do their job the best. And that is a wonderful thing, too. Not to want, knowing that you could do better, but you don't have the mechanism to achieve that. So a lot has been accomplished, and I look forward to more great things. Thank you very much, everyone, for your contribution.
Anyone else? I'll close it by also saying naturally thank you to everyone. It's a team effort in order to make something like this happen. But I'm just always so happy and proud of the consistency and the stability that's here. We laid a very strong, financial base here. And I think if we just stay the course and continue on this way, it's just going to become better and better. So I really do feel it was a lot of sacrifices, and I think we really have accomplished a lot, and it's because of all of everyone here in Old Bridge as well, in the administration in town. Thank you very much. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Just to clarify, it's on adoption.
Right. This is for the this is for the adoption of the budget for 2019.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Peschitti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Oh.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes, and thank you, everyone.
8 yes, 1
Thank you,
no.
council. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Zero budget, that's a lot to be proud of.
All right. Okay.
Continue, we're going to capital.
Now we will move on to the capital budget presentation.
Not done yet.
No.
Thank you. I'll spit it up. Come on, we're spending so much money.
Bye Birdie, they gave the guy the little pillow.
Capital Improvement Program, general overview, a capital improvement program is, do we need a motion to open before I start?
Make a motion.
I move it. Second.
Motion to start? Okay. A capital improvement program is multi-year plan and scheduled for capital projects. Capital projects have a prospective useful life of 5 years or more. Capital projects may include the acquisition and/or development of land, the acquisition of major equipment and personal properties, the acquisition, construction, improvement, and/or renovation of buildings, roads, utilities, and other structures, improvements of public works, and any other matter described in NJSA 48:2-22, regardless of the financing source. Capital Improvement Program, the annual capital budget is prepared and adopted in conjunction with the annual operating budget. Administrative preparation of annual capital budget includes a thorough review of each department's projects request in terms of needs, justification, scheduling, cost, effect on operating budget, method of financing, impact on municipal debt structure. The capital budget does not directly appropriate fund. The appropriation of fund is made part of the capital section of the budget and/or by the adoption of the bond ordinance, which is scheduled for adoption tonight. Upon completion of project, any unexpended balance are canceled by council resolution. Capital improvement planning and budgeting goals. Continue to develop comprehensive 6 years capital programs on an annual basis that supports township goals and objective for equipment, facilities, infrastructure, and technology. Continue to develop and implement management system for prioritizing, tracking, and reporting on capital projects to ensure timely acquisition and/or completion. Maximize utilization of grants, offset capital cost, and related debt services. Minimize property tax impact of capital projects and related debt service through sound financial planning and balancing of debt repayment schedule. So, as every year, we're going to review the last 5 years of capital, bringing to the current year capital program. So in 2014, we had curb replacement program budgeted, Balmora Drive design and permitting, Lake Ridge Drive construction, Shoreland Circle design. In equipment, cable studio control room upgrade, cable studio upgrades, council chambers upgrades, network upgrades, firearms, 20-ton trailers, asphalt hot patch trailers, enclosed trailers, large mowers, liquid brine system, road pavers, road roller, road show, lift systems, vehicle scan tools, public safety, radio communication. That was one of our big project. Facility improvements included overhead garage doors, municipal complex sidewalk repairs, Camp Robin building improvement design, storage area construction, synthetic ice surface system, energy savings improvement program. Furniture included chairs and tables and office furnitures for Uniform Construction Code. Master plan included Jake Brown Road extension, parks improvements, Geik Park Playground, Menino Park Phase 2, public driving range, sports court resurfacing, VFW building improvements. Road improvements included annual road resurfacing program for various locations and stated projects on Texas Road. Vehicle included 7 four-wheel drive, 2 mid-size dump truck, utility tractor, and utility vehicles. Total authorization in 2014 was $13,877,250. As of today, unexpended balance is $338,455.31. Those are still ongoing projects. In 2015, Council authorized curb replacement program, annual drainage improvement program, and Furman Boulevard stabilization. In equipment, includes data storage solution, disaster recovery solution, computer switch replacement, large mower, automated external defibrillator, trailer attenuator, diesel engine scan tools, fluid distribution system, skid steer attachments. Facility improvements, arena cooling tower replacement, arena roof improvements. Master plan included Jake Brown Road extension. Parks improvement included basketball court improvements, public library, emergency generator, road improvement, annual road resurfacing program, Trans Old Bridge road improvements, that was a state aid project. Vehicles, 4 medium dump trucks, 3 small pickup vehicles, and 2 four-wheel drive vehicles. Total authorized in 2015, $4,494,000. Currently, we have an unexpended balance of $176,615.79. 2016 capital budget was authorized to curb replacement program, annual drainage program, additional funding for Furman Boulevard stabilization, and Balmora Drive. Equipment included phone system replacements, spreader sprayer, 911 PSAP answering system, asphalt saw, fuel system replacement, plasma cutter, and trailer. Facility included civic center retaining wall, commuter parking lots. Parks improvements included tennis backboard, upper Geik Park restrooms. Road improvement included annual road resurfacing program, pedestrian safety improvement at Route 9 and Old Mill Road, and a pro rata share contribution study. Traffic signal improvement included traffic signal at State Highway Route 34 and Amboy Road. Vehicle included passenger bus, 2 small pickup vehicle, 1 four-wheel drive, and 1 utility bucket truck. Total authorized in 2016, $4,644,500. Currently, we have unexpended balance of $618,768.34. 2017. Curb replacement program, annual drainage improvement program, John Partridge Road permit cost, Washington Avenue permit cost. Equipment included email archive storage solution, virtual host replacement solution, large mower, small mower, sound system, mobile radar, speed trailer, bin blocks, compressor, mini excavator, portable generator for gas pumps, salt spreader attachments, snow box, tire balancer, tire mount, and dismount machine. Facility improvement included municipal complex parking lots, building security improvements, building safety improvements, fire alarm system improvements, HVAC system improvements at animal shelter, arena fireplace replacement, arena floor tire replacement, arena roof improvements. Replacement of furniture and carpeting at senior center. Parks improvements included sports courts resurfacing. Road improvement included annual road resurfacing program. Towship Road improvements, the stated project. Traffic signal improvement, traffic signal at State Highway Route 9 and Spring Valley Road. Vehicle included small pickup vehicle, two four-wheel drive vehicles, tactical communication vehicles, large full-service mower truck. Total authorized $4,467,000. Currently, we have unexpended balance of $830,008.45. Last year, in 2018, annual curb replacement program, annual drainage improvements. Equipment include replace disaster recovery system, TV studio cameras, production sets, dustless blasting mobile unit, Bobcat toolcat, fatals/serious crash equipment, fingerprinting machine and printer, mobile columns, engraving machines, and dumpster. Facility improvements, building security improvements, campus security camera upgrades, policewoman's locker room, replacement of circuit breakers, temperature control package, window replacement, building department lobby improvements, ESIP improvements. Furniture for special need adult services, library, public library included rooftop HVAC unit replacement, parks improvement, Cottrell Farm Park. Initial design study was included in 2018. Road improvement, annual road resurfacing program, and a stated project of Pleasant Valley Road improvements. Traffic signal included traffic signal at Highway 9 and Spring Valley Road. Vehicles included passenger bus, 1 SUV vehicles, 2 police motorcycles, sanitation truck, single XL dump trucks, and 1 all-wheel drive vehicle. Total authorized $5,028,400. Currently, we have unexpended balance of $1,170,084.49. That brings up to our 2009 proposed capital ordinance. It includes annual curb replacement program, annual drainage improvement program. The lists are included attached to the bond ordinance, and it should be in the notice. Equipment includes TV studio lighting, data center furnitures, engineering plotter replacement, MIS help desk platform, UPS upgrade, My Senior Center software scanners, in-car camera system, police rifle radar shields, dump trailers, plow for sanitation truck. Facility improvement include municipal securities upgrade, update and replace lighting at Lawrence Harbor Waterfront Boardwalk, policeman's locker room, electrical upgrade for fuel station, installation of generator for senior center and civic centers, installation of supplemental HVAC in courtroom, replacement of electric breaker panel in administration building and civic center, replacement of outdoor fuse disconnect, upgrade to administration building HVAC. Parks improvement includes development of Cottrell Farm Park, Gyke Park ball field synthetic turf conversion and replacement, new irrigation system at Higgins Rocker Complex, Veterans Park playground replacement. Road improvements include annual road resurfacing program and Spring Valley Road culvert. Vehicle includes equipment, transportation carrier, compact utility loader, dump truck, pickup truck, single axle dump trucks, one SUV vehicle. Total is $6 million. Plus there's a section 20 of $85,000 that makes total ordinance authorized $6,085,000. There's a down payment provided through the budget of $305,000, and total borrowing bonds and notes authorized is $5,780,000. I'm going to turn over to the capital funding process to Dawn.
Thank you, Himanshu. The capital funding process, it begins with the adoption of a multi-purpose capital bond ordinance, which authorizes the project borrowings, which is on tonight's agenda, the 2019 bond ordinance for public hearing and adoption right after our presentation. The next step would be issuance of short-term bond anticipation notes, or BANs. These notes are limited to 1-year expiration from the date of issue. The township does not immediately borrow the funds. Once the project starts or is awarded, the bid is awarded, the finance department reviews all authorized projects and determines the amount to borrow. Short-term band borrowing happens over multiple years as the project within the bond ordinance progresses. The next step, usually these bands are renewed for an additional 2 to 3 years to allow the projects to be completed and the final amount of borrowing to be determined. So the bands are renewed annually until the project's complete. During this process, some of the notes are paid down each year, and then also new money is added to the bands as additional projects are started. The next step would be conversion of multiple short-term bands by issuance of long-term bonds. Generally, after 2 or 3 years, we combine multiple band issues into long-term bonds. The proposed 2019 bond issue covers bands that were issued over the past 2 years. The annual amortization for township debt is approximately 10% of the total annual budget. We try to keep debt service as flat as possible so we don't have any large fluctuations from year to year. The rating agencies find this percentage to be very reasonable and well managed by the municipality, which is reflected in the township's AA1 rating from Moody's Investor Services, which is the second highest rating that Moody's assigns. This high rating has an impact on the borrowing rate and financing costs, which has helped reduce the borrowing rate, which gives us lower financing costs, which is then passed on to the taxpayers. Our method of amortization has been recognized by the rating agencies, as the next slide will show. This is our current debt amortization. This includes township-issued bonds for General Capital and Arena Utility Fund, the Environmental Infrastructure Trust Loan, and the Green Acres Trust Loan. It does not include the bond anticipation notes or projects that were authorized but debt has not been issued. The current debt amortization is 17 years. Why is amortization important? These capital projects provide a long-term benefit to the township. Improvements done today have a lifespan or a benefit over the next 5, 10, or 20 years. So the debt costs are paid over the useful life of the improvement. The township has a policy not to borrow more than what we retire, and we leave enough room for additional borrowing. The proposed new bond ordinance, bond issue in 2019 will fill in later years with new amortization, which minimizes the impact on the operating budget. Also, we try and keep our bond issues to 10 to 12 years amortization and under $10 million, which is considered bank qualified and helps us, again, get a reduced rate. This slide is just a graphic presentation of our outstanding debt. As you can see, it goes down each year, but as we issue new debt in future years, it kind of fills in to keep it level. Recommended council action items, public hearing and adoption of the bond ordinance for the 2019 capital budget, We're recommending that council adopts the bond ordinance tonight, so our department heads can keep moving forward with our capital improvements.
Explain the characters.
Do I need to?
Guess who?
Well, we have from left to right. We have Himanshu, myself. Well, I guess I should have added a third. Captain Mandola and Sergeant Doctors. Our Public Works Director, Kyle Harris, and Recreation Director, Matt Mercurio. Our Township Engineer, Nicole Shapiro, and our Mayor, Henry.
Blonde hair?
Well, thank you very much. Now, gentlemen, do you have anything to add to this?
Council, comment that I can make is, first of all, thank you. But we didn't go back, for those of us, again, who've been around for a while, we should have went back 3 years, 3 more years, 2011, before I came into office. The slide that would have been put up would have had a 0 on it. 0 invested in the Township of Old Bridge in 2011. 2012, we invested 3. My first year, second year, we went to 4. And we started at 14. So if you add all the numbers up that we, over the last 8 years, we've invested back into our taxpayers over $45 million have gone back into this community. And you should all be very proud of that. That is an amazing number. And I think property values have increased because of it. Old Bridge has become very desirable to live here. So it's, I think it's a credit to everyone who supported these capital projects over the last 8 years. Thank you.
Mr. Allison?
Sure. I'd just like to go back again to the bond rating report, and one of the kudos that they gave us was that we have a rapid pay down of our debt. And they look at that very, very highly, that we don't extend our debt longer than it needs to be, and that we actually reduce it quicker than what most other towns do.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shaw?
Yeah, just want to, emphasize that this year's capital project is important. One of the projects is very critical, is the Cottrell Farm development. Is one of those active recreation facility in the town, probably the first one that's, not necessarily an active sports related or others. And I think it's going to be right here, right in the center of the town. I believe it's going to be, jewel of the town when it's fully developed. And so I would hope that council supports the development of Cottrell Farm.
Thank you very much. I will now open it up to the public. Does anyone have any questions about the capital budget and the bond ordinance?
The microphone, please.
Yeah, Mr. Merlin.
The handheld mic, please. Where's that?
Hold on.
The hand microphone?
That one doesn't work?
It's working now.
Oh, wait.
It should be okay.
Should be on.
Okay, thanks. Again, my name is John Milner, and you can find me on Facebook. Just input my name and my.
Mr. Milner,
Please try not to
just
cover up
your
the graft. I believe
questions.
you're just trying to step on me to cover up the super
No,
graft.
it's not a public
Oh,
commercial.
no,
Just
this
ask a
is-
question.
This is
Just
just
quiet
about-
down.
You asked a question.
About this capital budget here, I'd like to ask Mr. Shaw, you use an internal accounting system? And what's the name of that software?
Again,
What was the question?
no. Don't answer it. It has nothing to do with the capital budget.
Who are you around here?
I'm the township attorney, and I get to answer.
Yeah, you're
and
not
I
on-
get to
you're not on the
direct.
council. You
I
don't
get
make
to
decisions around here.
direct when people ask
Trying
incorrect
to
and
cover up-
improper questions.
You trying to step on me?
Incorrect and improper
Trying to cover up a
questions.
big crime?
Mr. Milner, you're out of
If
order.
you want to ask proper questions, they can be asked. But if you're not going to ask proper questions, you're not allowed. It's that simple.
I have very important questions about the financial system that the municipality uses.
This is
This is
a
a
capital budget. So you can ask any question you want about the capital budget, about the projects that are being funded through the capital budget. That's what you can ask. If it doesn't have to do with that, now is not the time.
Right.
Okay, my last name is Milner. Please check me out on Facebook.
Oh,
And
enough,
look for
enough,
a picture of
enough,
George
enough.
Washington. Thank you.
Please.
We'll talk.
Okay, anyone else from the public wish to be heard? on the bond ordinance, the capital projects? All right, seeing no hands, then I will close the public portion, and I will go to council. On my left, anyone? Mr. Merwin.
Yeah, I'm on to, in the 2718 bonds and the 2018 bond, they both had traffic signal at Spring Valley and Route 9.
I believe there was additional funding needed for the traffic signal based on the cost estimate, the contribution to the state. So that's why they're in the 2 years.
Anyone else? Mr. Cahill?
Yeah, so, thank you. So, you know, the capital budget, to me, I mean, everybody talks about the municipal budget, and it's important, right? Because that's what the taxpayers see in their tax bill. But just as important, if not as important, or maybe more important, is the capital budget, because in my opinion, it's what the public sees. They see the draining, they see the curbage, they see the streets, they see the new police vehicles. They see all the different things that we're doing in the town to make the town better. And you can only do that if you structure your budget in such a way that you can afford to do it. You know, it's no surprise that we're able to finance more because of our bond rating, because of our strong structure as far as the management of the finances in our budget year over year over year. So, you know, having a strong fiscal discipline around a municipal budget has allowed us to actually go out and effectuate more capital, which actually helps the town. So I'm just, you know, obviously I'm going to support it, and I just wanted to make that point. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? On my right, Mr. Pischetti?
I only had one short question. What is Schedule 20?
Schedule 20 is there is certain, in the operating of the capital program, there's additional cost needed, for example, financing cost or preliminary engineering cost. Those are under the statute listed as a Section 20 cost, and those costs are limited to what we put in the ordinance. So we, you know, when we go out for financing, we have a cost associated with the legal cost, the rating agency cost, the financial advisor's cost, and then actual underwriter cost. Those are costs absorbed under the Section 20. They are not considered the actual project cost.
Okay, thank you very much.
Just to follow up on that, and why it's referred to as Section 20 cost, because it's a statute 48:2-20. Allows for expenses associated with the bond issuance to be charged. So that's where you come up with Section 20.
Are you through? Good. Anyone else on my right? Dr. Greenberg?
I would like to say that it is a lot of times when people see how much money you expend, they get upset and they say, oh, I don't want to spend money or anything, but you do have to have an expense to maintain your buildings and your facilities, the road, your infrastructure. Technology creates a situation where you have to expend money for improvements, security. So really, I think it's well-planned. I think in the long run, with a bond rating, we've saved a lot of money doing these projects, which allows us to do more. And I think it's visible throughout the whole town, the improvements that we've made. So I want to say thank you again, not to let, you know, the buildings deteriorate and the facilities, and maintaining them, and a lot goes into it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mrs. Walker?
Yes, it's the township being in good financial standing, it allows us the opportunity to give back to the community and have the roads paved and the curbing, which was not happening. And I think this is a very good thing moving forward for us.
Oh. Sorry, no profanity in this chamber. Or I think you're going to have to leave if you
So we have a sergeant at arms that suggests
Yes.
if there's any more outbursts.
Absolutely. Captain Mandola, please. Yes, I mean, he can't be using profanity here. That's not what we're about. Anyone else for comments from the council? Okay, then I will also just say once again, reiterate that I'm very pleased with the projects, and that as a ward council person for now 10 years, I can tell you how appreciative the people really are, whether it's from Lake Ridge to Lake Ridge West and so on. It really shows, and I think we have a good plan, and it's very well thought out and very fair to all the wards. So I also think this is a very, very positive, good budget for us. So I'd like to ask someone for a motion. It's for the 2019-04 bond ordinance, providing an appropriation of $6,085,000 for various improvement in and by the Township of Old Bridge in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, authorizing the issuance of $5,780,000 bonds or notes of the Township for financing part of the appropriation.
I'll move it.
Second.
Second, whatever, third.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
No.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 no.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight, Mr. Allison, and everyone have a good night. Next will be public hearings and ordinances for second reading. Now, the first one is H1, and it's Release Reduction Performance Guarantee, Michael Stasi, Red Shore Village, application number 95-06Z, block 42000, lot 39. It's rescheduled until April 29th, 2019, so all property owners can be noticed. Okay. H2, Release Reduction Performance Guarantee, Barbara Pablin, 54 Norman Lane, Old Bridge, application number 36-04P, bond number 17-250-0-757606. Good evening, Mrs. Shapiro.
Good evening. Thank you, Council President.
Are they here? Good evening.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Can we have your name for the record, please?
Sure. First name is Ala, last name is Elbana.
Thank you.
Council, this application was before the Planning Board years ago, and the subject property is located on Norman Lane near the intersection of Heath Court. It was to construct a single-family home, including roadway improvements along the applicant's frontage along Norman Lane. Roadway improvements included Belgian block curb, bituminous pavement, concrete sidewalk, and concrete driveway apron. The performance guarantee in the amount of $11,802.30 was posted all in cash. The improvements were inspected by the engineering office. We found all improvements as per the plans to be satisfactorily done. Because there are some public improvements along Norman Lane, they would require a posting of a maintenance bond in the amount of 15% of the total performance guarantee, which is $1,770.35. So we recommend release of the performance guarantee. There were no other reductions prior to this request.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll now open this up to the public. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to be heard on this? Seeing no hands, I will close the public portion and go to council. Anyone questions, council? Yes, Mr. Cahill.
This is Barbara Pabian? I'm just not sure what the relationship is.
The original application came under Barbara in the 2004 application.
Okay.
The son had sold the property, and then now it's with Mr. Albana.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else on this side? No?
So there's a small maintenance guarantee that has to be retained because there's some public improvements along Norman Lane. That amount is about $1,770. And all the performance guarantee was posted all in cash.
Anyone else a question? Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay. Cahill.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Thank you
Thank
very
you very
much.
much.
Have a great night.
You have a nice evening. Thank you, sir. H3 is release reduction performance guarantee, Manzo Old Bridge Properties, LLC. Preliminary major subdivision, Block 5001, lots 11, 12.11, and 13. Application number 95-99Z. Attorney has requested postponement until April 8th, 2019, without further notice or advertisement. H4, release reduction. Oh, yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Is anyone here for that one?
So just so you'll.
Yep.
post it for that date.
Anyone here for that? No?
Yeah, you just take a motion to
Right.
to approve the postponement until the April 8th, 2019
Right.
hearing.
Move it.
Okay.
Second.
Without notice, correct?
Yeah, without notice, Dave.
Without notice or advertisement.
Yeah, I think in this situation, and I talked to Nicole about it, and the repairs is commercial property, so I think in that instance, it's all interior and it's be warranted.
I need a motion again?
Now, do we have a motion?
We did.
Okay, you have it, right? Okay, all right.
Oh, Brian was.
Right, yep.
And who seconded it? Who was the second?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
It's been moved and seconded.
Yes, it is, Dave, yes.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
H4, release reduction performance guarantee, Dennis Cataldo, D&M Auto Body, Block 18084, lots 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, and 121. Application number 33-14Z. Good evening.
Good evening, council. Members, my name is Peter Klauser. I'm an attorney with the firm Heilbrunn Pape. I represent Dennis Cataldo and D&M Auto Body, and I actually represented them in front of the zoning board when we got the approvals for the development that was bonded. We're here tonight for the release. Turn it over to Ms. Shapiro.
Thank you, Mr. Klauser. So this was as Mr. Klauser said, this is an application in front of our zoning board for a auto body shop. And they were looking to expand their building so that they could introduce one new service bay and then some office space. There was some exterior work, but everything was private in nature. The addition was 1,206 square foot. And there was some exterior concrete work, some striping, landscaping, and trash enclosure. The performance guarantee on this project was $17,703.60. In the form of a bond was $15,933.24. The cash portion represented was $1,770.36. There were previously no reductions on the performance guarantee, and on this project, since everything is private, there will be no maintenance bonds. We recommend release. Everything was satisfactorily done as per plans.
Is this the, oh,
Wait, thank you, Mrs. Shapiro. Is there anyone out in the public that would like to be heard on this? Seeing no hands, I will close the public and now go to council members. Mr. Murphy?
Is this the one on Appleby Avenue?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you.
Anyone else on my left for questions? On my right? Do I have a motion?
Second.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Kale?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes, tell your client he did a hell of a job there, made it real nice.
Nice, looks good. Thank you.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You have a good evening as well. Preliminary public comments to council, subject to the following conditions and restrictions. During the preliminary public portion of the meeting, any person may address the Township Council on any subject matters for a maximum period of 5 minutes. Any such person desiring to speak during the preliminary public portion shall first sign a list maintained by the Township Clerk for such purpose. Comments during the preliminary public comment portion of the meeting shall not encompass second reading ordinances or any other matter for which comment or a public hearing is to occur at the meeting.
Kim Castagna? I think I pronounced her name wrong.
Did he sign up?
Yeah.
No, the little guy.
Good evening. My name is this on?
Yeah.
My name is Kim Costain, and I'm running, I'm an Old Bridge resident and a taxpayer, and I'm running for council at large in the 2019 election with Team Rizzoli. I'd like to address the education budget cuts in Old Bridge and my observation on how this council is negatively responding. In meeting after meeting, I have watched council members continue to assign the blame to the Board of Education when, in fact, the Board of Education has no ability to raising ratables within the Township of Old Bridge. The responsibility of increasing ratables that will help stabilize taxes lies solely with the mayor and council. For every dollar invested in Old Bridge economic development, the Board of Ed receives approximately 50% of those dollars. This influx of revenue could have stopped the possible closing of schools in our town and maybe kept our paras safe. Every time that council members point the finger at the Board of Ed, it proves that you failed in your job because you know that the Board of Education cannot create ratables. You've turned a blind eye to helping the school board when we should be working with them towards a solution. We shall all be about quality education and our children and not pointing fingers. Thank you.
Okay.
Debbie Mendez?
Good evening.
I'm here to talk about, I've been a resident here for 21 years. On April 12, 2018, I was struck by an SUV in the parking lot at
Excuse
the
me, Debbie.
ShopRite.
I don't know if that's on. Why don't you take one of these?
Yeah.
You know, have a seat, because we can't hear you. Thank you. Just make sure it's on.
Should be a green light. You see the little button?
Yeah, just press that.
Okay.
Green light?
Thank you.
Okay.
Very good.
Green light, okay.
Green light, yeah.
Restart. My name is Debbie Mendez. I've been a resident of Old Bridge for 21 years. On April 12, 2018, I was struck by an SUV in the parking lot of the ShopRite on Route 9. The reason I'm here tonight is this. I was notified the first 2 times when the driver came to court. He didn't come. My husband came. I was still recovering. The 3rd time, we were not told when the court appearance was, and that's when he came to court. We were also asked by the prosecutor if a plea would be okay. We said no, and a plea was made anyway. So this accident was pleaded to obstructed passage $106 fine. I have written to both the judge and Prosecutor Miller asking for a conversation with no response. I have gone to the court office at the municipal center, asked for a setup of a meeting or a phone call, which was denied. I was told to show up on Wednesday night at court, wait 3-4 hours to see if the prosecutor would maybe speak to me on the way out. I was told the case would not be reopened by the court clerk. I'm not asking for that. I am simply asking for a conversation. My issue has to do with that accident being investigated or discussed. How does one back up at full speed in a parking lot, hit a human being, continue to back up, hit a few more cars, and knock down a sign? Is this man safe to drive? Will this happen to someone else? All that damage, erratic driving, not to mention my lifelong injuries to myself, and this was pleaded down to obstructed passage and court costs. I am requesting still a conversation, why and how this was decided. I'm glad to be alive, but disappointed that this was treated so minimally. We can't change the outcome of this case, but I'm hoping we could do better when approaching cases like this in the future, when a vehicle hits a vehicle and when a vehicle hits a human being. I'll always have to wonder why I was hit by this car and why it was pleaded to a $106 fine. I have been in this court several times with my 3 teenagers, and I have paid triple that for a late dog license. So what my expectation is today is possibly a conversation with the prosecutor to understand and not be ignored like a pass of obstruction, which was the fine. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, and what I'll do is if he can leave, I know I have your name, we have your contact information. I'll follow up with the prosecutor.
Yes.
And then, because there's certain things can be discussed, may not be discussed. I don't know enough about the particulars of the case, but I'll follow up with the prosecutor and then get back to you. Sure, I'll do that. You're welcome.
Debbie?
Debbie, do we have a contact number
Yeah,
for
I
you?
have your number. Okay.
Okay,
I have it.
thank you.
Vasilios Marantidis.
Good evening.
Spera. It's a Greek word. Kali spera is the same thing. Is that open?
It's on, right?
Yeah,
Is your,
that one is on. Call. She'll put it on for
wait
you.
a minute.
She'll
Let
put
her
it on.
the microphone on for you, okay?
Before I start my complaints, I want to give the attention everybody because 23 years ago, Mr. Butler, the great man, he was visiting me 3 times my house. But he had one good program. He had every month or every 2 months, he used to have groups from the tenants. He used to listen the problems which we had. Do we have that today? Yes or not? Instead to be here to complain what problems we have with the manager, it's better to have somebody without limited, that's the way it is, it was with Mr. Butler, we can express ourselves. Exactly. Now my problems which I came, do you receive the results of the company which they came for the mold in my apartment? No, not yet. I hope next meeting is going to be, they're going to be here. Now, the other thing which I have to give the attention, when they came that company, LEW, that's the name of the company, they checked the air, and when I asked him, does that apartment smell mold? He says, yes, smell mold. But we're going to have to send it to check whatever it is to the company, whatever they have to. Since that, I asked them to check the apartment, the next apartment. They refuse it. And what I see, that apartment before she opens around 5-6 inches the window, now she opens 3 windows open. Can anybody tell me why she opens that windows? I asked somebody, why she opens the window? Because stinks. It's a mold. They refuse in New Amsterdam Village to continue because all the apartments, they steal people. They steal mold. Walking outside after 8, now because the days it's a bigger, 8, 9 o'clock, walking from outside of the building, you can see how many places they stink mold. I don't have to add anything else. Please, do something also from the 516, the 516, which we go to the 18 in Eaglestown. I report to Mr. Butler. There is the power, which you have kids, they play open field, they play golf. Do you know what can be received electricity, or not electricity, how can I say, energy from the wires? Do you know what can happen to that person, kids, they play there with 2,000 or 2 million voltage they have, and they play under that, how can I say, electric power, creates a cancer. Please, get some tools there and count how much energy gets that people, that kids, to play on the golf 2 or 3 hours. They're going to be cancer, they're going to be sick into the future. Remove that place, please. Get it 200 away. In Canada, because I'm Canadian, I love to be Canadian, they have that rules because they know it is cancer, creates cancer. Nobody can park there, nobody can stay there. No cars, no anything. Get something, don't believe me. Get some, check that area. How many people, how many years? Already they passed 23 years. Nobody did anything. Those people, they're going to have into the future cancer. Please, send somebody, check that area. Remove that area, 200 feet away. I beg you. I'm worried about the cancer because I know what means the worst pain, it is the cancer. The worst pain, it is the cancer. Please do something about for everybody, for your children, for your grandchildren, wherever it is.
Madam
Think
Chairperson,
about that area.
have we sent the health department out there?
Please.
Council President, let me report. The Health Department has visited the site twice. Second time I was there, and I know council member has visited the location. And I was there with Pat Reardon, our construction official, myself, and Tom Sikorsky from Department of Health, the county, and his associates. We were there. The apartment, the management company had indicated that we didn't find the finding that is referred. The management company also ordered a third-party private company environmental company to evaluate. And the word I have received that they have not found any mold. They're going to give me the written, I asked for a written report. We're waiting for a written report. The management company has also offered him to move to another apartment. He doesn't want to move to another apartment. So I think at this point, the township, we are exhausted with all of our efforts. I don't know what other agency or somewhere else, but I don't think that, that we can do anything under our control.
When are the reports going to be
Can I answer
in?
to your report, sir? When you was there, I asked everybody, can you smell the windows?
I personally did. I personally did.
No, I'm sorry you did not. Many other people, they smell it. Many others, 3 months I'm working there with the open windows, open the door from 24 hours a day. Something is connection is. It is connection.
All right.
I'm go further to Washington DC. The guy, when he
Yeah.
came here, I asked him, do you smell there is any with those computers, whatever he had? Yes, there is a mall. And now
right,
he
sir.
reported there is not a mall.
Sir? Unfortunately, your time is up, so we're going to have to cut this conversation short, but we
Want
did
that
take in all
report?
the information.
Excuse me, I want that report. I want that
Oh.
report, please.
Okay.
Also, the police, when they came to arrest
Uh,
me, all of them.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right, so we will close the public portion. And now we will go to council member comments. Anyone on my left? Mr. Murphy?
Yes, just recently I got notice from Chairwoman, and I'm sorry, the President of the Council, and she had told me that they decided to relocate the salt silo, and we were going to come up with a better place for them. Is that still the case so far?
Yes, it is. In fact, Mr. Murphy, what I had brought with me this evening, because they did have a meeting with the DOT, and it involved myself naturally as the council president. Mrs. Shapiro took the lead on this, and there was Captain Mandola, Captain Gumprick was there, as well as the chief, naturally Himanshu, and Mayor Henry, both of whom did a really awesome job as well, making our point known to the DOT. And I received an email, which Nicole, we all received. And basically, what the email said was, I'll just go for just the highlight. It said, "Hi, Mrs. Shapiro. It was a pleasure speaking with you this afternoon. Thank you again for facilitating Friday's meeting to discuss the proposed salt dome in Old Bridge. The NJDOT listened and truly heard your concerns at Friday's meeting. We discussed your concerns internally and determined that we will not build a salt dome in Old Bridge. Instead, we will explore other opportunities in locations beyond Old Bridge jurisdictional limits." Okay, so.
Okay, thank you. I was very proud to see the vote go 9-0 or 8-0, whatever was there. But I think a special kudos has to go to Councilman Rizzoli for bringing it up. And there was never anything that it wouldn't do, but they said we wouldn't be able to change any minds, but he kept pushing the vote, and we got the vote, and I think that had a lot to do with it, and I just want to thank him for that.
John, I'm not trying to play one way or the other, but the resolution that Mr. Rizzoli brought up was to check the Route 9 corridor for any dangerous type of things, which we've been doing. The salt barn was something that, the resolution was put up by whom? By the administration.
No.
Yes. I mean, I'm not,
Is that,
and again.
is that right, Mark? Didn't you talk about forcing that letter from the
No.
council?
It's two separate things.
Right, that was a separate one, Mr. Murphy. That was,
Okay.
in relation to what had happened, the fatalities.
Okay.
Happened to be the same night, so it kind of was.
But I
Yeah,
just think
no,
it was
right.
it was a township effort, and I'm glad it happened that way, and it just shows you never give up with something. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Anyone else on my left?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Rizzoli.
Thank you. I made a request last meeting and was given an unprofessional response. I asked for the EMS backup plan, Plan A and Plan B, which I still haven't received. When a member of this council asks a question, it shouldn't become a confrontational issue. I know Councilman Murphy was asked a question one time. He was called an idiot. It's unprofessional. I hear a lot how transparent we are, and we want to pat ourselves on the back. So since there's no response, that would mean there is no plan. And it's a total smoke and mirrors here that we have all these plans for the backup plan, which, in fact, we obviously don't have a plan because no one has yet to respond to my request.
Well, look, I wasn't here at the last meeting, but, and I'm not sure exactly what the mayor said, but what we do have in place is an EMS program that's been operating, and to the extent that that's being monitored regularly by the police department and the administration. So, if in fact that doesn't it doesn't work out, the town has various options available to it. And I think those have been discussed over the years, including going out to bid for private service and/or supplementing what's there with, again, an emergency contract. So it's not a situation where right now there's an emergency or a dire emergency. The calls have been responded to. They're monitored. I've gotten reports actually for the last 2 years, and knowing that I've had discussions with the mayor and the administrator to the extent that if that weren't the case, that we would be in a position to either enter into an emergency contract or go out to bid. So, so there are various options available to the administration, and those have been discussed over the last year, and they'll continue to be monitored. And when, if and when it's determined that those have to be executed, they can be executed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rizal. I guess if you were at last meeting, I would have got a response to my question. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else on the left? Mr. Merwin?
Yes. I'd like to touch on a very serious but sticky situation. As everyone knows, our Board of Education is in a very serious financial situation that will impact not only the Board of Ed, but also our children, our residents, and our taxpayers. We have a Board of Education that, in order to balance its budget, are putting in place a series of events that I believe will impact not only them, but all of us as well. They're talking about closing our only blue ribbon school, the Cheesequake School, and then selling it to the highest bidder. They're talking about selling off to the highest bidder the Nike site. And then they're talking about privatizing our paraprofessionals along with other layoffs. Well, I agree this is a Board of Education problem. It is also our problem. If our school system fails, we fail as leaders of this great town. A lot of you going around spouting Old Bridge proud. Well, now is time to make Old Bridge proud. It is not time to be pointing fingers. It is not time to say it's not our problem. It is time, however, to step up to the plate and put our money where our mouth is. We currently have a security plan in place to protect our children from harm. However, the funding formula is for it is 75% Board of Ed, 25% Township. I respectfully request that the administration renegotiate the cost of the security plan to help ease the burden that the Board of Ed finds itself in. It's time we stepped in and showed that we're really half skin in the game when it comes to the security of our children. It's time we saved our Cheesequake School. It's time we saved our paras, and it's time to keep our children safe. If you could, like I said, that's a request. If you could report back in 30 days with any progress, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, you're good, Mr.
No, I still got another one. I think it was, what did we have? February 25th, we had a meeting. It was the day of the double fatal on Route 9 and near Spring Valley Road. And I requested at that time, maybe we could reinstitute the traffic enforcement, the aggressive driving program. And I hadn't heard anything in a couple of days, so then I offed a letter to the mayor, the chief of police, and I still haven't heard anything. Do we have any plans to implement the aggressive driving program, or are we going to ignore that?
I review the monthly police reports, and I can tell you we are aggressively on Route 9 issuing summonses.
Anyone else? Or you through, Mr. Merwin?
No, I'm not through.
Okay.
You know,
That's fine.
I don't believe that we're that aggressively out there issuing on Route 9. I believe we need the aggressive driving program, all right? Especially from a mayor that spouts so much public safety. It was so much public safety, you spent $30,000 on Christmas lights. I mean, this is for the safety of the traveling public, to our pedestrian public along Route 9, Route 35, Route 34, Route 18. That aggressive driving program, people were afraid to come through Old Bridge. They knew when they came in, they better slow down. All right? I just don't, yeah, not going any further with it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Merwin. Anyone else on my left? On my right, Mr. Pescitti?
Okay, I have to comment because I have a real-world situation that's happened in my past that has to do with the public schools. And look, I'm a big advocate for education, and I believe that education is extremely important. Two of my children were in the public schools, and my son was praying over his meal at lunchtime. And the lunch mother came and said, "No, you can't pray in school." And she took him to the principal. The principal enforced what the lunch mother said and said that you can't pray. So I went and I spoke to the principal, and she said that she was mistaken. But what I realized was there was something going on in the public school system, and it wasn't aligned with my values. So I took my son out, and I put him in Christian school. Now, it cost me $7,000 for the year to educate my child. And when he moved from the public school to the private school, he was 1 year behind in what they were learning. So, and I decided to take my daughter out of public school, put her in Christian school, and the cost for her was $6,000 a year. The cost in Old Bridge to educate a child is approximately $17,000 a year. Now, there's something wrong, okay? And I don't know what it is. I haven't studied it. I don't know whether, administration is too fat. I don't know. I don't know what the real issue is. But for me, I was able to get my child educated for extremely less money and get a better education, and an education that was more aligned with my values than in our public school system. Now, I don't blame Old Bridge. Old Bridge actually has a good reputation. When you compare Old Bridge with other public schools, it's very good. It's probably in the top 10. It's really good. But when you compare our public education system in the country to other countries, we fall very short. So, look, I don't want to make enemies in our town. There's a lot of people that are involved in the public school system, a lot of good teachers, a lot of good administrators. And I'm just saying, look, selling land or selling property is not the way to plug your budget. Old Bridge tried that, didn't work. And they're faced with the same thing, I understand. But the money that they got from the state was based on so many students. And as their rolls went down, they should have been getting less money, but they weren't. They were getting the same money. So there's an issue there as well. So I'm just saying that, look, I would like to come alongside and help in any way I could and support our public education system. But they really have to look at how much it's costing to educate a student in a year. Thank you.
Anyone else on my right?
Dr.
Greenberg?
Yes, I just want to mention that this past Saturday was the opening ceremony for the 105th anniversary of Old Bridge that we're celebrating throughout the whole year. And I wanted to thank all the members of the Thomas Warren Museum, the board, and all their help, the board, the members. It was an amazing affair. I want to thank Matt Mercurio, head of rec, who helped, and Anahita Feltz. They did a superb job in a short amount of time, and it was the kickoff. And really, a lot of things that we see that goes on in the town, people want to complain or say things, but really, I would like to focus on something positive, and it was a wonderful event, and there's a lot of history in this town, how it developed from a small farm community, how it came from Madison Township and became Old Bridge Township, and we have a lot to be proud of, and I would like everyone to pay attention to some of the events that are going on throughout the whole year as we celebrate our 150th anniversary, and I wish everyone well. Thank you.
Anyone else for comment? Mrs. Walker?
Yes, this weekend at the kickoff of the 150th anniversary was held at the Thomas Warren Museum, and I just want to encourage people to visit the Thomas Warren Museum. It's a little treasure in town that people don't know is there. I believe it's open on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. You could check their website for details, but they have all artifacts from Old Bridge, and they have the original one-room schoolhouse there that you can tour, and it's a really wonderful place to visit. It's great for the kids and for families to go to, so people should take advantage of it.
Anyone else for comments? Okay, I'll close the comments just by saying it was a wonderful event. I have been a member of that historical society now for quite a few years, and it's an amazing place. The enthusiasm, the energy, and the willingness to share with everyone, all the different aspects of town. May the late Mrs. Ann Miller, she was a pillar of that organization, and she had so many great memories and things to share with us. So it's a wonderful place. Report of the township clerk?
None at this time.
Thank you. Report of the township attorney? Report of the township attorney?
Nothing to report, thanks.
Okay. And administrative report, Mr. Shah.
Thank you, Council Presidents. The administrative report, March 25, 2019. 25th, no. Item number 1, Old Bridge 150th Anniversary Celebration, Old Bridge Kickoff. Celebrate Old Bridge Kickoff. On Saturday, March 23rd, 2019, Mayor Henry, along with Senator Thompson, former Old Bridge Mayor Russ Azzarello, Mayor Barbara Cannon, Mayor Patrick Gillespie, Township Council President Mary Sohar, Council members Anita Greenberg-Belli, Brian Cahill, John Murphy, and Debbie Walker kicked up the year-long anniversary celebration at the Thomas Warren Museum. The event was attended by the Township directors, dignitaries, board members of the Madison Township, Old Bridge Township Historical Society, as well as Mr. Gregory Sharp, President and CEO of Amboy Bank. Proclamation from Senator Thompson's and Congresswoman Bonnie Watson were presented. The year-long celebration will continue with several events throughout the year. The detailed list is available on our website, oldbridge.com/OB150. Item number 2, Mayor's Health and Wellness Inaugural 5K Race. On Saturday, March 30, 2019, Township of Old Bridge will host its first annual Health and Wellness 5K race honoring our hometown heroes. The race will start and finish at the Old Bridge Municipal Building, and there will be a health and wellness fair immediately following the race, where you can take advantage of pre-giveaways and helpful health tips from our local sponsors. Based on an overwhelming response to the 5K registration, registration will continue through Wednesday, March 27, 2019. More than 450 runners have signed up, most of whom have made individual donations for the cause. Proceeds from the raise will go to the Municipal Alliance and to the Veterans Organization. To sign up, please visit www.oldbridge.com. Item number 3, Old Bridge bond rating information. On Monday, March 18, 2019, Moody's Investor Service affirmed the Township of Old Bridge very strong AA1 bond rating. The AA1 rating is the second highest rating assigned by Moody's and is in the top 10% for municipalities both nationwide and New Jersey. The excellent rating reflects the Township's large tax base, strong management, consistent financial operation, and modest debt burden. The Township overall financial position continued to strengthen each year under current management. Item number 4, 2018 Annual Resurfacing Program. MECO Inc. was awarded the 2018 Annual Road Resurfacing Program at the July 18, 2018 Council meeting. A pre-construction meeting was held on August 15, 2018. The contractor was given a notice to proceed on Tuesday, October 16, 2018. However, his work had to carry over to 2019 due to winter months. The contractor is set to remobilize and continue his milling and surfacing work on Monday, April 1, 2019 with the following roads: Marlborough Road, Walmart Driveway to .06 miles south, Brook Streets, the entire street, Hillier Road, Dobson Road to Oak Street, Earhart Road, entire street, Pearsall Road, entire street, half width, Park Avenue, 1st Street to 3rd Street. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, website, and on our television station for any updates. Item number 5, Mayor Henry's Clean Team. On Saturday, April 6, 2019, Mayor Henry and volunteer from Old Bridge Militia Foundation, McDavid K Kids, OB Soccer League Warriors, OB High School Italian Honor Society, and Old Bridge Lighting 12U baseball team will kick off the 2019 Mayor Henry Clean Communities Program. The location of the cleanup will determine closer to the cleanup date based on the road condition. For additional information, local not-for-profit organizations should contact Clean Community Coordinator at 732-721-5600, extension 6107, or email recycling@oldbridge.com. Item number 6, Cottrell Farm Park, New Jersey Green Acres application. The Township of Old Bridge, in accordance with NJAC 7:36-12.2 of the Green Acres Regulations, seeks to file a local government assistance application for parks development via the Urban Aid Program to obtain grants from the State of New Jersey Green Acre Program for the development of recreation facilities at proposed Cottrell Farm Park, located at the northeast corner of Cottrell Road and County Road 516/Matawan Road. A second public hearing to obtain comments on this Green Acres application will be held prior to the next council meeting on Monday, April 8, 2019 at 7 p.m. in the Old Bridge Township Courtroom. The public may speak at the public hearing or submit written comments to the Township Engineer at a time to the close of the public hearing. Item number 7, Old Bridge Municipal Alliance. On Tuesday, April 30, 2019, at 6:30 to 8 p.m., there will be a Mayor's Towns Forum on opioid crisis hosted by Mayor Owen Henry, Township Council, Old Bridge School District, the Police Department, the medical community, and the Old Bridge Municipal Alliance for Prevention of Substance Abuse. The event will be held at Hackensack Meridian Health Raritan Bay Medical Center at Old Bridge. The goal is to inform and educate our community of the dangers and abuse of prescription drugs. Dr. Bonnie Nolan will be the educator speaker at this symposium. Dr. Nolan has her PhD in neuroscience, and she is currently the Addiction Service Coordinator for the Peer Recovery Program in Woodbridge, and also works with Old Bridge Police Department. Dr. Nolan is an expert in biology-based, psychological, physiological, and drug and human behavior. For information, please contact Karen Torrisi at extension 4022 or at K-Store, storetour@oldbridge.com. Item number 8, pickleball coming to Old Bridge. Due to the rise in popularity of pickleball this spring, the Parks and Recreation Department will be putting down pickleball lines on 2 of the tennis court in municipal complex. The lines will be painted in a different color theme than the tennis court and will not interfere with those who still wants to play tennis on those courts. Those courts can be utilized by tennis players and pickleball players. For additional information, please contact Parks and Recreation Department at extension 7913. Item number 9, Superstorm Sandy Blue Acres Buyout Program. The Department of Environmental Protection Superstorm Sandy Blue Acres team has provided an update related to the buyout program to homeowners in the Township of Old Bridge. As of March 4, 2019, 31 offers have been extended, and of those, 26 have been accepted. Demolition is completed for all homes that have been acquired under the buyout, and the survey vendors completed settings pins and monuments in the buyout area. There is one outstanding property that has been extended an offer through, though a decision has yet not been made on whether it will be accepted or not. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Does any council member have a question or a comment?
Move it.
No,
Oh,
she's
wait,
got a comment.
wait, I'm sorry, Mrs. Walker had a question or comment?
Yes, I have a question about the pickleball courts. What's going to be happening with the net, since the tennis net is a different height than, what happens if there's a tennis team and then a pickleball team comes?
The system that we have, that we purchased last year, is a converter net. Basically, it goes over the net, and if you're familiar with any tennis court, right on the bottom of that net, there's a hook. So if you're there for pickleball, you literally bend down, hook it in. If somebody behind you is coming in and playing tennis, you just unhook it up.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Hey, anyone else for any question or comment? All right.
I
do
move
have-
it.
Okay, moved by Mr. Murphy, second.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Consent agenda. I need someone to give me a motion and a second, and I'll bring it out to the public.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Merwin.
And seconded by Mr. Rizzoli.
Is there anyone in the public who wishes to be heard on any of these consent agenda items? Seeing no hands, I will close the public and now ask the council for their separations if they have any.
C5 for abstention.
All right. Mrs. Walker.
Move the balance.
Anyone else? Everyone else is good?
I abstained from C4. Wait,
Oh,
wait,
she
no,
could
wait.
do that on-
Which
on the
one's
vote.
with, C3.
On the vote?
I'm sorry, still?
She can do that on the vote.
Right, yeah.
No, okay, I saw something different. It was corrected. I'm good.
Anyone else want to separate anything? No? Mr. Cahill, you made the motion to move the balance?
Second.
Okay.
Mr. Merwin seconded.
Yep.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscitty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes on the balance.
C5? Do I have a motion? Move it. Moved by Mr. Rizzoli, second?
Second.
Second, Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Madam President,
Yes.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
On the C5. When we have an attorney report, which you didn't have a report tonight, right? Can we get like a briefing on, an overview of legal issues, people suing the town, blah, blah, blah?
That has nothing to do with C5.
I can do that, but, and you have a question in response to the resolution?
On the C5 is a attorney thing, it's a legal thing,
It is.
right? But
So-
you had no report, so.
Right, so because there's nothing to report other than he's being appointed there's a provision in the collective bargaining agreements of the police department that allows them to request counsel of their own choosing to represent them in defense of matters in which they are sued. So in exercising that provision, Lieutenant Snee has requested this representation, and that's what this agreement is about. We've had a few of those over the last couple of years. But to your other point, yes, I could do that.
Thank you. So that's part of the collective bargaining. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
Okay. Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Piscatty?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Abstain.
President Soho?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 abstention.
Okay, there are no ordinances this evening for first reading. Discussion ordinances D01, ordinance designating target enforcement zones in the Township of Old Bridge for calendar year 2019.
Move it.
Well, we're going to have a little, right, a discussion this way too for the people in the public.
I know it's been a long night.
They'll have a better understanding of what I just read. Okay? Good evening, Mayor,
Thank
Captain
you.
Mandola.
You'll have a copy of the ordinance, what the chief has proposed. Captain Mandola is here to ask any specific questions. Basically, what we have here, we've identified, as you want to call it, problem areas, either with excessive speeding or accidents. And we'd like to relabel these zones, the roads and their boundaries, as a target enforcement area, which would require a court appearance if you were issued a moving violation on any of these roads. Now, it's one of your roads. I'm sure there's going to be some discussion. We've anticipated approximately 75 to 80% of the people traveling these roads that we are targeting or traveled or the offenses are by Old Bridge residents. So they will be receiving summonses and they will be required to come to court. I believe what brought this on has been our continued efforts on these roads where we've have enhanced enforcement. A number of tickets have been written, and yet we still continue to have the accidents and get the complaints. Speeding has not, even with the enhanced enforcement efforts, we have not been able to control the speeding on these roads. We hope this is another toolbox, another tool in our toolbox that hopefully we can get people to change their driving habits. It's out of control, and it's not only Old Bridge. You go to other towns you're traveling through, you see other towns have done similar, you see the signs, especially in school zones. So I'm open for any suggestions, captains here, if you have any specific questions. I'd like to thank the chief for bringing this forward, because we're always on the chief, you got to do this, please, 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 please. And he stepped forward and said, well, we need some more, we need a little bit more bite on the ticket. The fine doesn't seem to be deterring anyone. In fact, the chief said one individual had 3 tickets in one day and did not dissuade him from speeding. So to have to give a days up from work to come here and answer to a judge and a police officer, we understand that's going to take police officer to be here when they have to be in court. We'll work that to make sure that it doesn't have a negative impact on the police officers. So we're open to suggestions, but we really would like to move this forward. If anyone has any comments, this will be coming before the council every year.
Madam Chairperson.
And we can remove roads, we can add roads if we see results.
Okay, yes, Mr. Merwin?
Yeah. Will this be moving violations only?
Yes, moving violations.
I mean, it'll be in the ordinance that it says it's moving violations only, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
I know I've seen you guys on the corner, but can you just add possibly at one corner, Cindy and Route 9 southbound, the tractor trailers when they come down that little incline there or going through the light? Maybe I missed it here, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see it, but I know I've seen your cars out there doing enforcement. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. It's been a big problem with tractor trailers going through the light.
Okay, anyone else on my left have any questions? Mrs. Brown?
Yeah, is it possible to add any more areas to this, or it's kind of closed at this point?
We have discussed other areas, Councilwoman, but we also have to be reasonable that we would only be able to enforce so many and be effective. We will monitor, and if we need to amend this, we will. If the data supports additional, bring it to our attention, and then we'll see if the data supports adding another area. We had discussed other roads, but the chief had determined to leave them off in order so that we could concentrate. And this is pretty ambitious, what we've attacked in this first ordinance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 roads have been targeted.
And just keep in mind, if we expand to more and more roads, we don't have that many officers on the road to enforce it. So basically, those signs would mean nothing to people, and they would continue their speeding.
Anyone else on my left, questions or comments? Mr. Fischetti?
I get it. More roads, not as much coverage, but we are, like in my ward, I mean, you got Grace Drive, Throckmorton Lane, Southwood Drive. You know, these are just through streets, and when the traffic is heavy around rush hour, those streets get used because people come off their highways and use it as a shortcut. So I would just ask you to look at those roads as part of the enforcement. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And if you see any councilman, see problems like such as that, let us know. Doesn't have to be in the ordinance. We could go into that zone and make those adjustments.
I've already talked to the chief.
Okay.
About those roads.
Anyone else? Mrs. Walker?
Yeah, I'm really hoping the speeding on Amboy Road will decrease with this ordinance, because when the police presence is out there, I constantly see cars being pulled over continuously. And like the mayor said, sometimes it's the same person a few times in the same day. They could pull cars over every 3 minutes there, and I'm hoping this is going to deter the speeding and stop the accidents.
Anyone else?
I've seen signs in other towns where they've had problem areas, and they put up signs, fines are doubled in those areas. And I've spoken to people, and they felt that helped. Yeah.
I don't know if we'd be allowed to double the fines.
That's a big...
That's on state highways. They say that when they have those, safe corridors and construction zones.
The fines are established by state statute, so depending on the violation, and then there's only certain instances in which fines can be doubled that have to be mandated.
But we're hoping the court appearance has an impact.
Yeah, again, you know, in talking to the chief, the point is that, to I think Mr. Merwin's, they're traffic violations that typically they could write court appearance anyway. Anyone who's received a ticket, you'll see that, you know, court appearance required or not, and an officer can check it. So, or not. And in this instance is that if you have a traffic violation, then that is going to be a mandatory court appearance.
And I think we're hoping the signs, you know, so that the officer doesn't even have the opportunity to check. He's just pulling the car over. We're hoping the signs are effective.
And just for a little insight, I've spoken with Lieutenant Matt Lloyd from Aberdeen. They have this program, and he advised me that because it's court appearance, word gets around, and they do see a decrease in the speeding on those roads because nobody wants to appear in court. That is a big detriment for this.
Okay.
And we will be collecting data to...
That's great. I
make
think
an
it's
impact.
wonderful, too. I really do, and I want to thank Chief Volkert for all of his input, and maybe this will be something, like you said, something else that we can try to hopefully get a little bit more of a handle on the
One
speeders.
accident, it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Even, right, whatever we save, it is. Okay, so do we have...
I move it.
So we're clear, because somehow you guys get confused, and I don't understand why. It's been 7 years.
Now.
All right. So the motion
Right.
is to move it for introduction.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so we have the motion, we have a...
Second.
Okay.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
And Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Fischetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Now,
Now,
So it'll be set for
So
public
now
hearing
it's-
in
right.
next meeting.
okay.
Move it.
No. It's already done.
We're good.
so it's,
Okay, yay, okay.
so this was first reading.
Yep,
Okay.
very good.
This was first reading. Okay.
And we got it. Okay. Next is public...
Thank you, counsel.
You're welcome.
Nicole, that was first reading tonight.
Yeah, that was first reading, Nicole.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Got it. Okay.
Point of order.
Yes.
If we didn't want to move it up, we would have had to take a motion to not move it up.
Well, no,
We-
actually, it's listed as a discussion item.
The what?
It's listed for discussion, right? So you
Okay.
can discuss, to be discussed. So that's all you did. So the motion is to move it for introduction for first reading.
Okay, what if we want to introduce it tonight?
You did, that's exactly what you
Yeah,
did.
that's what we did.
What if we didn't want to?
Then you would decide not to move it for introduction. The motion was, that's why I said, the
Right.
motion was
Exactly.
to move it for introduction.
Okay.
Right?
Yay
So
or
if you
nay?
didn't want to do it, then no one.
Should we get inconsistent between attorneys, you know?
And just follow my lead. My lead is
Okay.
He's the wingman.
Just follow my lead.
All right.
Where's Trip? We did to,
Follow my lead. I've been trying to lead everybody for 7 years. Follow my lead.
Okay, so are we all good now? Okay. All right. Next is public comments on any subject matter. Anyone in the audience wish to be heard? Come forward.
you put on? Time's up. Oh, well.
I'm talking to you, my friend.
No, you have to
No,
address your
you
comments
have
to council.
to me.
Yeah.
Your
Okay.
comments,
Still,
it's common.
Yeah.
still the offer which I did, $500 to visit the Dachau of New Amsterdam Village. Could you tell me somebody how can I sleep tonight? 3 months I suffer. And he said there is not more. I asked the guy, he says there is a small. Now they say there is not a small. More.
But I think they're waiting for the reports.
Did you smell the small when you was there? Lady, did you smell the thing?
Councilwoman Brown, not lady.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. That's the thing is,
I-
I don't understand the.
So, yeah, no, and I was there.
Did you smell, tell them to the gentleman.
Yeah, I don't
Did you
know what he
smell the
smelled.
thing is? How I get the thing?
So
Why they don't come- Why they don't come to
Right.
check all the apartments?
So again-
Not only for me.
Just let him
So
speak this
again,
way.
obviously, it's a private establishment, and you have a landlord and you have a management company. It's unusual and atypical for a municipality or governmental entity to get involved in a private relationship. It just is not supposed to happen. Now, my understanding is, based upon your last appearance in front of this council, that in fact, the Department of Health, who would have jurisdiction over this, went out to the facility and is doing an investigation. So from that perspective, our construction official also went out there. It's not typical nor usual for that to happen, because it's a private relationship. Now, if in fact your landlord were to go to the rent board, because I'm not sure if this comes under the rent stabilization, if it did, and they asked for an increase, certainly at that point, the issue could be addressed. Or, and what you can also do, being that you're probably a senior citizen, certainly there's an ombudsman's office, the Department of Community Affairs, that maybe you should reach out to, because they sometimes have oversight on multi-family apartment buildings. So I'm not sure if that was done. And do the tenants have an association at all? Is there a tenants association?
Now, can I answer you?
No, I'm asking you a question. Is there a tenants association?
There's not.
There is none,
There's
right?
not.
So,
As I reported before, Mr. Butler, he used to have that kind.
Right.
And we
So-
used to complain instead to come to waste your time.
Yeah.
And
So-
we had a unlimited time to explain exactly what happens. But that's the thing which in a minute, It's not because this is the company, it's not a company, it's the, it belongs to the government, that building. It's a real estate, it is a real estate.
Yeah, but if it's private
It's not
property.
a private, it's not a private, it's not a private. It belongs to the state. 1947, when they built that building.
Is it HUD housing?
It's a townhouses.
No. Is it HUD, federal government housing? Is it subsidized in any
They
way?
give them as a how can I say,
No?
real estate. They give it as I don't understand it so well, my friend. The question is that buildings belongs to the government. They give them to the real estate to manage that properties, that buildings, and this they don't care. They don't care if people they suffer, people they die. I lost my sister.
Right, so my understanding, it's owned privately, and it's not owned by the government. Now, again, the Department of Community Affairs, and Pat, you can follow up with them, because maybe we could check with them and have them, I know they have an office dealing with multifamily properties, and I don't know if the Department of Health follow up with them. That's the only other avenue in which we can utilize as a municipal government to assist in that regard. But unfortunately, you're in a situation where you have a landlord and a tenant, and these are landlord-tenant issues that get addressed through the lease and the lease process.
How many times the health department they came in my area? How many times? How many times they get only one to take my own position?
Right. So again, what we'll do is, the Department of Health was out there.
If you do, you don't do for me.
The Department of Health was out there.
Yes, twice.
Okay, and they're waiting the result of the mold report?
Yes.
All right.
We just got the verbal, but we have asked for the written.
Okay, to which we said we'll give a copy to.
Yes.
And then I think, the other thing that we can do on your behalf is to reach out to the Department of Community Affairs, which is a state agency that oversees multifamily buildings.
Let me call you as a friend, because I don't know your name, my friend.
That's okay.
The thing is, and I want in a minute, no matter what they're gonna do, if the water comes or with humidity, the apartment, they feel mold, they have mold there, no matter what. The way what they did before, it was solid, the floor, completely attached to the walls. Now the way where they build the new floors, there is space, which it is. And I ask everybody, now today we had 52 degrees, yesterday 60. It's gonna be 80 degrees. Do I supposed to open the air condition? Do I supposed to open the air condition? Yes, from the air condition comes the mold. How am I gonna sleep? That's my point is.
No, I get that.
It's just only to give me the city.
I get that, but there's only limited things that this town can do, and they're exercising the remedies that are available
They don't
to
care
it.
about the people, my friend. I told you 5,000 times. They don't care.
I get that. So, what we are trying to do is anything that we can do, we will do, and that's what we've been trying to do.
Please, give me the time, because I need to relax. I need something to do before I leave that planet.
Yeah.
I swear to the God. For that reason, I'm staying here. It's 36 years. All myself, I used to clean that property, front. 36 years.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to stop, no flowers. I'm never going to clean that anymore. And welcome to that area. You will see what happens. They clean the bushes and they throw the leaves. It's 50 feet away. All the things, they remove them down there.
All right, thank you.
All right, well, thank you for sharing all that with me.
Please, welcome, say somebody. Somebody's in my position. I'm not sleep at night time. I'm not sleep. See my eyes. My sister, she died from that. The mold creates cancer.
Okay.
It's not only for me. You see what I told you about the 516? I'm worried about the people
Yeah.
to die from the
All right,
cancer.
unfortunately, we've taken in all the information.
I want all
All
the
right,
report, the
thank you.
police who say they came
Please.
without doctor to.
We have to
they
move
had
on.
Psychology before they arrest me.
Okay, next, all right, next,
All right, we have to
next is,
continue.
You can walk him out and talk to him, please. Give him the information. Okay. Next is discussion D1, a resolution in opposition to the NJ DOT approval.
Excuse me?
Guys, are we going to finish?
Okay.
All right.
The discussion.
Okay. All right, it's the resolution in opposition to NJ DOT approval of the Williams Pipeline. Mr. Merwin.
Yes. First, I want to correct what I would like a resolution in opposition to. It's the New Jersey DEP dewatering permits for the Williams Pipeline, also known as NESE, Northeast Supply Enhancement. There's multiple reasons why we should oppose this project. One is this pipeline, as I've stated in the past, though we have an existing pipeline in Old Bridge, we don't need a second one. These things are running right through Parkwood Apartments along Westminster Boulevard, which is in the middle of several thousand apartments there between the three complexes. It goes dangerously close to the Superfund site known as Summer Brothers or Global Landfill. It goes dangerously close to the Superfund site of the Raritan Bay Slag Cag. It then comes out of there and goes up and is dangerously close to Madison Park housing development. Then it crosses over and goes into the compressor station up on Cheesequake Road. The pipeline then comes out of the new pipeline will then come out of the Cerebral thing, and it will cause all along these things, they have to dewater the trenches, is why they need the permits. And they're talking hundreds of thousands of gallons a day of dewatering. Now, we know that over in the area of Madison Park and Cerebral, we have that groundwater intrusion of DuPonts and Hercules that is gravitating through the area. When they dewater, like the size that they're talking about dewatering, they will undoubtedly change the hydraulics of the area and suck the polluted water into it. Then they want to put 26 miles of pipeline underneath the Raritan Bay. Now, our coastal waters have improved significantly since their low point in the 70s. Stricter environmental laws, investment in waste treatment, and decline of industries on a river that flew into the region have led to a dramatic improvement in water quality. I, being a longtime resident down there, can attest to that. We used to not be able to see 6 inches into the water with all the fecal matter and everything else that was floating in that bay. Now you can go out 3-4 feet and see clear to the bottom. We don't need them lying a 26-inch diameter pipeline in 26 miles of a riverbed or bay bed. It's a disruptive construction project that will stir up everything, all those toxins that are laying on the bottom of the ocean. And it'll create problems with our fishing and other recreational things. So for those reasons, I think that we should be in opposition to the DEP issuing dewatering permits. Like I said, the dewatering will change the hydraulics in the area. Now, I seen the presentation by Williams to the DEP last Monday in East Brunswick. And every time somebody, or even in their own reports, when they ask how that will impact, their answer every time was, it probably will not. It probably will not. It probably will not. Never could they say it won't happen. Probably will not. Well, if this council is willing to take the chance that it probably won't happen, well, then that's so be it. But I think, and I will move a resolution to be in opposition to the Williams Pipeline, also known as the Nessie Northeast Supply Enhancement for their DEP dewatering permits. Nobody want to second it?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Anyone? Does anyone have any comment before we vote?
Yeah, I'd like to have a couple comments.
Okay, Mr. Murphy?
A lot of what Mr. Councilman Merwin has said is true. It won't just be bringing what came into Sayreville and Perth Amboy's water supply. It will also bring chlorides and anything else closer into the Old Bridge well aquifers. That's my major concern. We don't need that coming in and having to shut down the rest of our wells, and that's what did happen to Perth Amboy and South Amboy, Perth Amboy and Sayreville. Also, I think this is going to be put near the other gas line. On the beach, it's sand. You start moving any of that, it's just going to shift. We already have a sewer line that is now showing. You're going to have it shift there, and I just feel it's not a good idea to put this into all the places where he said it's going to go. And like I said, my major concern is I know water, and I know what this will do to the water if they do all this dewatering. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on my left? On my right? Mrs. Walker?
This is a federal project. What is the resolution going to do? How is that going to stop it? You can't stop the federal government.
New Jersey DEP dewatering permits.
You just want to stop the dewatering, is that what you're saying?
I want to stop the issuing of the dewatering permits, which will create the problem in our area, where with dewatering, with the amount of dewatering that they're going to do, is definitely going to change the hydraulics of the area, which could jeopardize all the work that's been done at Global Landfill, along with any other wetlands that are in the area. It definitely, when they come out of the compressor station, over on the other side of the compressor station, the dewatering in that area will definitely change the hydraulics, which will cause those polluted waters from DuPont and Hercules to be creeping closer and closer to our aquifers.
Dr. Greenberg?
With that information, can we table it so maybe we can get a presentation from the engineer from the MUA on this?
No, we need to get it going before the middle of April when the permit time is
I just
up.
don't feel
Right.
comfortable voting on it, not having any information from professionals and knowing about it. I know this William Pipeline's been here for a long time, and I think it comes from Texas, so I already think that it's gone through different areas. I'd like more information on it, and I wouldn't feel comfortable voting on something that I don't know. I know that, as far as delivering the gas, I don't think people want to go to electric heating in their home and electric cooking, and you have to provide the gas, and even gas you need for our electrical station. So I just need information from engineers, more professional, to make a comment on, an educated comment on this. And I would feel if the NJDEP, I think that they've already approved it. And I know how stringent the DEP is with the MUA and everything else. So if they improve this, I would feel that they did their studies. So, it's leaving it in the dark, but I think I would go by that, because I know the DEP gives the MUA all the time a difficult time. And if they're approving this, I don't know why they didn't take anything into consideration. I would have to say that if they approved it, they did their homework. So I just don't feel that I can give a really concrete, educated answer to this without all this information.
Ms.
I just know
Greenberg.
from the past history that what I've read.
Ms. Greenberg, That's quite different from the statements that you made the last time that I brought it up. You accused me of being political, that I was scaring the public. This is the same project. All right? It must be election time because you've definitely changed your tune than the last time.
Mr. Merwin.
No. We're going to
yes.
discuss this, all right?
But we are, and excuse me,
All right.
but.
And, well, listen, she made the comments. I didn't.
But
the last time she accused me of being political with it.
Mr. Merwin, every time we have a discussion, you can't lose your temper like this. I'm trying to coordinate this.
I didn't lose my temper. I'm just telling you the truth. The last time,
and
it was
louder,
political. It was,
and louder,
come on.
and
I'm
louder.
allowed to get loud. It's my voice.
And each time you're speaking, and when we have a discussion, you tend to get ramped up.
Okay, so what?
Well, excuse me, but I really feel that that's not the way to have a discussion.
Okay, so that's what you feel. I feel that this is a very important subject. I think that the residents of Old Bridge are at jeopardy, and I don't think, you can play the game, I don't want to talk about it. I want to put it off to the next meeting. All right? You knew about this. You didn't do your due diligence.
No.
I did.
Mr. Merwin, to make all those accusations, it's just
They're not
counterproductive.
accusations, they're the truth. See, they're accusations when they're not true, but when they're true, they're
Don't
true.
say playing
You made
a
those
game.
comments, I didn't.
Playing
Matter of fact,
a
the
game.
three of yous made those comments.
You're again playing games, silly
I'm not
season.
playing games.
No, that's what you're. But this
I'm not
is how
playing
you
games.
treat
You're
us.
playing the game.
No, but this is how
No.
you treat us. If we have a difference of opinion from you,
Difference of opinion,
No,
but
we
don't
can't.
give me the phony baloney. Don't give me that phony baloney that I need more time. You had
Stop
6
it.
months to do this.
well, this just shows you, though. Instead of having a discussion and treating us the way you should be treating the three of us as councilwomen, you instead choose to
Now you're
say,
separating yourself.
"Yo, you did."
Oh, you did. You were the ones that made the comment. I couldn't talk about anybody else.
You know what? Let's call for a vote and let's end it because there is
call a vote.
no ability to have a discussion anymore. It's gone. So
Right,
let's,
okay.
I want to say something. What Councilwoman Greenberg said, the DEP would love nothing more than to have us shut our wells. They are all for one major water company. They've been pushing that since 1983 when they forced us into shutting down the wells and cutting them back. If you want to table it, make that motion.
well, that's what she was talking, she was
Okay,
having
well,
a
that's what I'm saying.
discussion in trying to see,
I agree with her.
Can I ask a question?
okay.
Since our township engineer is here, I don't know if she has any insight on this project. Mr. Perdue, have any insight on this?
No, that's what Mark said as well.
That's what I was trying to find out, too.
I have to take a look at what the dewatering permit had entailed. There's always a list of like conditions that DEP gives on every permit that goes out. So I'm not familiar with the dewatering permit, but I have to agree with Dr. Greenberg that DEP, especially for a large project like, the Transcontinental Pipeline, they're not going to go easy on them, even though it's a federal job. They're going to be very stringent. I know that I had residents call me early on when they started the initial public notice process, and I think some people had come to me and said, should I sell my home? And I said, well, why would you sell your home? There's a twin pipe that's going near the existing pipe that's there now, and in certain areas, they'll disservice the old pipe and they'll open up the new line once it's connected and online. So I said, have you experienced anything lately? And their answer is no. How long have you been in your house? And they would say 30 years. And I said, well, the pipeline has been there. So there's a lot of other details that I just can't recall from, their conversations with me on what's going on. But as far as a dewatering permit, I haven't even looked at it.
But the pipeline, in a lot of places in sand, you disturb it, it's going to move that other pipeline.
Sure, it's very deep, and it's directional drilling from what I remember.
Yes, and that's another thing that scares me a little bit. If they hit anything, And there's other questions I'd like to ask. Are they planning on shutting parts of the other pipe down and going around it?
Councilman Murphy, there was a public information center that they were doing, and I can't remember the date of it, if it passed or not. If you want me to get you further information on the next public information meeting, you could certainly attend it. I don't know all their details, because again, they are federal government. I have no say in what they do. So, but I do pay attention when they come and they give us presentations internally to the professional staff in the planning and the engineering office. And from what I've heard, they're extremely thorough, because not only is it a federal project, but they're governed by the Board of Utilities. And they have to still abide by, the DEP, every state agency that they still have to go through. So if you want, I can get back to you with a date on when their next public meeting is.
Okay, but like I said, when they de-water, where do they think the water is going to come from? It's going to come away towards Old Bridge.
In my experience on private projects that I've worked on, when I use the dewatering technique, it would come out and keep that work area dry, and it would go right back in. So it wasn't like you were taking the water away and drying an aquifer. It was that you were replenishing it, just not in your work area. Again, I have
Yeah,
not
but
seen
you're
the
saying
water.
it's very deep. If that water, if that's clay there, that's not going right back in. It's going to pull, as they dig, it's going to pull water towards our aquifers. We've got 8 wells just south of that, southeast. And I just feel that could be a problem, and I kind of agree with Anita that maybe we should table this.
Yes, Mr. Rizzoli, yes.
Real quick, take this under consideration. When I was previously employed in Jersey City, we went through a specific thing called Spectral Pipeline. It was similar. And once somebody's issued a FERC permit, there's nothing we could do to stop the project. I think whoever looked into it could probably concur with me on that one. But I will say this also, they don't like to discuss in public the depth of the pipe for obvious reasons, Homeland Security reasons. So I think maybe if we're going to get into a detailed discussion, we might want to go into executive session on that for security reasons. Also, the quality of pipe is also a big security thing with them. I remember that being briefed by them. So, I mean, you can take that into consideration. I would like to have a presentation here so I can make a better decision on that. I mean, if we can set that up. Doesn't mean I'm not looking not to support it, but I'd like to have more information on it. This way we can move forward properly. Thank you.
I have a comment too.
Sure. Mrs. Brown?
Yes. So I actually did try to have a presentation for that done last year, and was told that it could not happen. I believe that's what happened. So I know it's a concern, especially people in Ward 3. But again, as Ms. Shapiro said, it is also a federal mandated thing. So, you can certainly go to hearings. You can sign on to be an intervener, which I've done. But I think, from a civilian standpoint, that's all that can be done at this point. But we can have a presentation, hopefully. So we'll work on that.
Okay, you through? Thank you. Anyone else?
Make a motion to table it.
I think you still have a motion
No.
on the table.
have a motion on the
On the table
Motion.
to the next meeting.
Second it?
No, I don't, go back.
Wait,
I think a motion was made.
right.
By
And
Mr.
a second.
Merwin, by
Second on
Mr.
Right.
Murphy.
whether or not to draft a resolution, not to.
Right.
Right.
Right, they have to rescind it.
There's a motion pending on whether to draft a resolution. That's what's pending on the floor.
I wasn't here for the resolution, so what did that say?
So there's a motion pending, I think, I don't know who made the motion, Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Merwin.
Seconded by Mr. Murphy.
Murphy, right.
To proceed with drafting of the motion, so that's pending. So that's either has to be voted on, or Mr. Merwin can make a request, a motion to rescind, that's what's pending.
Want us to take a vote on this? Mr. Merwin?
Yeah, the most I'm able to do is put it off to the next meeting, because the next meeting, if we don't act on it, then it falls on deaf ears because it'll have already been approved. It's not approved. This is not an approved project. They're still going through the process.
So
We need to stop it now, or it'll probably not affect us, or it'll probably won't be safe, or it'll probably not danger the global landfill, or it may not cause the groundwater from Sayreville to infiltrate into our aquifers. Probably, because that's everything that William said, probably.
Can we get a meeting? I don't think we can get a meeting by next
Can't
meeting.
get no meeting.
No, we have to, it's still on the floor, so you have a motion, you have a second, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Wait, what are we voting on right now?
So
To draft the opposition
Right.
resolution to oppose it.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
No.
Dr. Greenberg?
Abstain.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
No.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Abstain.
Mrs. Walker?
Abstain.
President Soha?
Abstain.
Okay, so it passes.
3 yes, 2 no, 4 abstentions.
3 yes, 2 no's for abstentions. You need,
For a resolution.
It failed.
No. That's not for a
All right,
resolution. Nope.
give the attorney a minute.
Not for a resolution. You need 5 for ordinance, not for a resolution.
I have to check. I have the abstention
you
rule,
check.
right, if it passes, I'll let
You
you
might
know.
as well start writing that opposition thing now. Thank you.
Next is,
If that's the case, I need information.
Okay.
All right,
I got plenty of
all right.
we're going into
Yes.
executive, so you're going to make that announcement.
So we have motion, resolution ES, actually it's ES1. It's a resolution to executive session for purposes of discussing litigation matter for Ayrton Bay Medical Center.
I move it to go in executive.
We'll reconvene in public session upon conclusion.
Point of order?
Okay?
Yes.
It's 11 o'clock, and by ordinance, we have to
Correct.
stop.
You have the motion to extend?
Make a motion to extend.
Okay.
We'll extend for 15 minutes. Brian's falling asleep.
Don't say that, Brian. Brian said he needs an hour.
Mrs. Brown?
This
Yes.
is on the extension.
On the extension to extend time?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
No.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Soha?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 no. We're extended.
Now, a motion to recess to go to executive.
Okay,
Motion?
I have it.
Okay, you
You're
have
ready.
it right.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr., Mr. Cahill?
This is the recess to go to executive.
Yes, yes, thank you, sorry.
Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, make a motion.
Motion to return to regular session.
Make a motion.
Second.
We already did.
Reconvene,
Yeah,
that's
we- we-
okay.
we're-
Now
we're
we need a
here.
motion to adopt the resolution
Mo-
authorizing the
motion.
settlement agreement.
Second.
Wait, are we up and running, Mary? Okay.
Motion.
Second.
Mark?
Wants a second? Give me a
I
second.
second it.
Okay.
Yeah, Tony?
Smoky smokies. What'd you say?
Q-tips.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Cahill?
Yes.
Dr. Greenberg? Dr. Greenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Merwin?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Pescetti?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
President Soha?
Yes.
9 yes. on
Make a
the-
motion to
Thank you,
adjourn.
Brian. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Ah, good.
State your name.
Who was the motion?